What up, everybody? Welcome to Wheel Talks. I'm Marty O'Connor, and this is my boy,
Sonny Casebound.
The show doesn't work out. Anyways. What's up, Wheel World? We are here with my boy,
Sonny Casebound.
and a very special guest today. We got Zack Collie, man. How you doing?
Mr.
I'm
Zack.
doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
Hell yeah, brother. Like, we met how long ago now? Like, at the gym?
I think we met at Goodwill.
Yeah.
Same place I
probably
met Sonny.
7 years ago?
It's
Something
gotta
like
be.
that?
You
Yeah,
didn't meet him
yeah.
first? He went there before I did.
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Yeah. So Sonny
Did-
met me because he saw me working out at the gym. Someone showed
Yeah.
us some videos.
No way.
And I saw you rolling around there. You know, it's just good people. You know,
Yeah.
like,
It's a long
people
time
come
ago.
together.
I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'd go to the gym and not work out. I'd literally just go to hang out.
What do you think Boston John does? Boston, if you're watching,
Boston.
that's you. That's you, sucker.
Yeah. He just goes around and talks to everybody.
Yeah,
Doesn't even lift the
lobster
weight.
rolls, the Patriots,
Yeah.
I remember him.
Tom Brady. Yeah.
I remember him.
Yeah.
He just loved to
love him.
talk.
I freaking love that guy.
I will tell you, from the moment I met you, though, you've always had amazing energy. You've always been positive. We both look at you as a little brother. But
Thank
yet
you.
you're doing big things that kind of surpassing
Right?
us.
Dude,
It's
it's
a-
a little bit, yeah. It's, yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm stoked that I got to kind of we'll see you guys again because I haven't seen either of you in years. So,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
I know.
I saw you guys start this up and I was super stoked for both of you. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm honored to be here. So
For sure, man. I think it's something that both of us have found some purpose in.
Yep.
And, you know, I think people are finding value in, you know, what we bring to the table in terms of content about sharing our stories and how they can help people,
Right.
you know, and you've kind of freaking mastered that on, you know, on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, like, we could start a little bit earlier. We'll get into
Yeah.
that. You know, let's
Yeah.
start.
Let's do it.
You were a young gun. You were a young gun when you got
gun.
right?
I was.
Freaking
Yeah.
yunning and gunning.
Him and Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, the Mighty
Young
Duck Man.
Gun.
You know,
You ever seen Young Guns?
I haven't.
Oh my! Wow. Okay. Anyways,
And I'm like a movie guy. That kind of.
yeah, I know, right? Like you're the encyclopedia and quotes of every movie.
Damn.
Like, and you're so dialed in. I'm surprised you haven't seen Young Guns 1 and 2.
So the movie poster will be right here.
Right there.
You know, our guy Brooks
Hey.
is just dialing it in right here.
We'll have movie night, just me and you.
Okay.
You know, I'll bring the popcorn. You know what I
Okay.
mean? We'll put the movie on. We'll hang
Anybody
out.
from the Wheel World wants to join us? Hit us up.
Please don't.
Dude, we can make it a threesome.
Yeah. Hey,
Whoa.
come
I'm
on
down.
in.
How are you
baby.
speaking my language?
I'm down.
Yeah.
Don't threaten me
Right
with a
on.
below average time. I might just jump on that.
Damn, things just got real serious.
Real
up in
serious
here,
and
dude.
really weird.
All right, man. So young gun, about what, 15 when you got
Yeah,
married?
I was 15 years old.
All right, man. Tell us about it. Lay it on us.
All right. So I guess before I get into it, I want to give you like a little quick background about, you know, the type of person I was before my
Yeah.
accident.
Where'd you grow up at?
So I've lived in Orange County my entire life.
Oh, sweet,
Okay.
baby.
I grew up there, going to the beach. I'm the oldest of 4 siblings.
What part?
shit.
What part of Orange
Nice.
County?
So I grew up in Orange County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of oranges. All right.
Yeah, and then when I was like 10 years old, I moved to Yorba Linda.
Okay.
And, you know, I still live there now. So
Okay,
I've lived
cool.
in Orange County, grew up going to the beach, you know.
Yeah.
So I have 2 younger brothers. The youngest is my little sister. And I was a very kind of rowdy, energetic teenager.
What's the age gap between you and your siblings?
So I'm 25. Then it drops down to, I'll be 26 this year, 23.
Wow.
And then it drops down to 16 and 14.
Dang.
No way.
So me and my younger
That's
brother
a lot to
Levi,
handle,
we have a
16,
similar
14,
age.
yeah.
And then it drops down. My parents took a few years off, and then
Uh-huh,
I had 2
yeah.
more. So
Right
it's cool
on.
because like me and Levi are close in age, and we can relate a lot. And
Yeah.
then the 2 younger ones, they're similar in age, so they're like best friends.
Well, what's your mom's nationality again?
Well, so she's, you know, I don't know exactly all her nationalities, but she's part Okinawan.
Okay.
No way.
And like Hawaiian.
Yes.
That's
which is
rad.
That's what I
Okinawan.
remember,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she has like a little bit of that, and then her dad. If you look at her dad, it looks like he's like white hair, super
Yeah.
tan, like
Yeah.
looks like he came from Hawaii.
Because
So
people
you're like Hapahali over
Yeah.
here, bro, you know?
Dude, I'm just white.
Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah.
people don't bring that guy's name up. But people would assume you're just like a stereotypical, not stereotypical, but like you're a
Just
white
the
dude,
average,
right?
Yeah, average white dude.
But
Yeah.
you have a lot of heritage in you, and I always thought that was interesting. Actually, when I first saw your mom, I would never guess she's your mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because no,
You got-
I can see that.
You know, and she looks very young too.
Yeah, no, she had me when she was like 20.
Oh, okay.
super young. Yeah.
Okay.
And then my dad has like Scottish and German and like
The real
over
white,
there,
the
dude.
real
like,
white stuff.
Yeah, the real white
Same.
stuff.
Yeah.
And just like, so it's kind of an interesting combination.
So as a kid growing up, did you play sports? Were you active?
So I did not play sports growing up.
Okay.
Neither of my parents were into sports. And so because of that, I never really kind of took an interest.
Yeah.
It wasn't until my freshman year of high school where I actually joined the sport. I wrestled.
Nice.
And that was awesome. But before that, I've tried like boxing, taekwondo.
Okay.
I've tried basketball.
So this explains your love for UFC.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're a diehard fan.
I
If
love
I ever
UFC.
miss a fight, I all look is your feed, your
Watch
story.
watch my story,
Yes.
bro.
For sure.
I love like violent. I feel like it's bad to say, but just it like sparks something inside of me, and I just can't
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's something that lives inside us. I think as men, we have that. Obviously, testosterone takes us a certain way.
Yeah,
for sure.
And dude, it's bad to say, but like I kind of miss a little bit of violence.
We actually
love
had
it.
this conversation
We
yesterday.
literally just talked about this yesterday, man. Just like if Sonny and I could just like
Punch
have
somebody in
some
the face one time, just get it out
brotherly
of our
love
system.
and square up and knock each other out.
Just
Like,
do it.
God,
Yeah.
like, so when we all get out of our chairs, we're starting a fight club.
Yeah,
Dude.
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah,
Post
and
wheelchair
you're
fight
invited.
club.
You're
Yeah.
invited.
I'm a part of it.
This right foot will go to the side of
do
your
it.
head. I'm just
I'm
gonna
ready.
prepare you for it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna throw down some wrestling shit.
Oh, yeah.
He's already got
Dude, I
like the
remember I get
Khabib
you a
gear
single
going,
leg.
No, I'm honestly, if I get in a fight ever again in my life, I'm doing a spinning kick or like some type of like out of nowhere flying knee. I'm just trying something crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
just square up. I'm just doing something nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm actually like bummed. I didn't have the passion back then for UFC, but now like I wish I could like be a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I freaking love it, and I think it's like a great foundation to have like, as
Totally.
a background.
Who's your favorite
But-
fighter right now?
There's so many.
Like if there's a fight you're not gonna
Maybe
like.
top three, and
Yeah.
no particular order. Like who
Dude.
are the guys that really? Like,
All right, I'm gonna go back to an OG.
Okay.
Nate Diaz.
Okay.
Okay.
Nate
Yeah.
Diaz, the Diaz brothers, like
Glad you didn't say GSP
they're just
off the start.
entertaining.
I'm glad you didn't
Yeah,
say
no,
GSP.
GSP's dope.
No.
I actually didn't get
hates
into UFC until like a few years ago, so he's
Okay.
kind of like back in the day. But
Yeah.
he's a goat for sure.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch an entertaining fight, dude, Nate Diaz.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't go wrong.
I could be honest
yeah.
with you. I think he's more of like a body bag these days. That he could just take a beating.
But it's still entertaining.
It's entertaining, but you
Yeah.
just
There's something though that stimulates that guy. The blood
he
pours
doesn't
out
give
of his
up.
face, and he's like it's something that turns him on. He gets weird.
At this point in his career,
after
though,
he
he's
gets
just
that
a-
blood.
he's like Nate Quarry or I don't forget what the boxer's name was, but he's just a bleeder. The minute
Yeah.
the guy
Well,
touches
for
him,
sure.
his
I mean, you look
eyes
at him,
open up.
you got all that scar tissue on
Yeah.
your face.
That
but-
is one thing I always get bummed out. Like his last fight against Jorge Masvidal, it was like for the BMF title, like
Yeah.
the two baddest guys in the
Oh, I
UFC.
know.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, dude, he gets kicked in the head and just like splits his whole eyebrow open. in,
Yeah.
like 15 seconds in the first
fighting.
round. I'm like, damn,
It's
man.
fighting, man.
Yeah.
That's part of fighting. Yeah.
Anyway, so I mean, you were into wrestling. I mean, you wish you can go like that certain direction. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I was never into like mainstream sports. I loved, before my accident, I rode dirt bikes. I surfed. I like to skateboard,
Yeah.
ride bikes. So I was more into like the kind of extreme stuff. So, I'm very grateful that I got to experience what that was like, because that's just like who I am, and it would have been
Yeah.
hard if I never got to experience
For sure.
what that was like before my accident. So,
So true. So
I
true.
was, always gone. I was just a huge extrovert. One of my buddies, I would stay the night at their house like every weekend I could. I'd go to school during the week and the weekends.
Yeah.
I would be gone from Friday to Sunday. Just had a lot of energy. I love being around
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say a bad kid or even a troublemaker, but I like to push the buttons and just,
charismatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
see
It's
what
the
would
young
happen.
gun, dude.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You look mischievous though, for sure. Something
Dude,
about you.
I
Like
got
to
a
have a
little
good
wild
time.
side.
Yeah,
you know? I like
yeah.
to have a good time.
Right.
That's cool.
But I also can be very respectful and stuff. And so, yeah, I was just a very, going from one thing to the next. My mom
Yeah.
always tells me a story that when I was younger, apparently they took me and my siblings to Disneyland for the day. And, we're having a great time. And she's like, you looked at me like halfway through the day and was like, all right, what are we doing after this?
Yeah.
She's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is it,
Yeah.
So I was always
Right.
thinking about what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
Right.
Always going, that's just, how I was.
For sure. So talk us through, the day and the injury and kind of, what you were doing and kind of just the whirlwind that came after.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've grown up in Orange County. I grew up going to the beach. I can't count how many times I probably have been to the beach. So I was a freshman in high school. It was about 2 weeks before
What high school,
my
by the way?
freshman year was going to end. Yorba Linda High School.
Okay.
Okay.
It was the first year it was built. I was the very
I was gonna
first
say,
freshman.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy coaches volleyball there, and I was like, damn, it's a pretty young school.
Yeah. So when I went,
These youngins, man.
it was just
Love
only freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah.
There was no juniors and seniors.
Crazy.
So it was about 2 weeks before the freshman year was over. It was Memorial Day. It happened to fall on a Monday.
Yeah.
So no school. You know, I'm stoked. I never was a fan of school.
Yeah.
And so my buddy hit me up and was like, hey, let's go to the beach.
Which
and
one?
So Newport Beach.
You guys in Newport
That was my
Beach,
go-to,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
Newport is where it's
Zooport.
at. So, you know, I grew up going to that one over Huntington. And that day, I had to ask my parents to basically drop me off at the beach. And they didn't want to.
Yeah.
Partly because they already had plans. They were going to this barbecue.
Right.
And on Memorial Day at the beach, like, traffic's just
Nice.
insane.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
no one wants to go down
Yorba
there.
Linda's not close either.
No, it's probably good without traffic, 30-minute drive.
30 minutes.
Yeah. So they didn't want to go. And then my buddy, you know, I wanted to go so bad. So I begged them. And they were like, all right, well, we'll take you to your friend's house. And then his parents can take you to the beach. And so they gave in. I was super stoked. They dropped me off. My dad drove me to my friend's house. And I remember him telling me, hey, you know, I want you to be careful. You know, you got careful about diving.
Yeah.
He literally talked to me about neck injuries and getting
Jeez.
paralyzed.
That is kind of cryptic
Which-
looking back on,
Yeah.
right?
You know,
That's
it's
gnarly.
kind of trippy looking back on that.
Do you ever thanks Dad for law of attraction?
No, I don't know. It's hard because, you know, I wasn't paying attention to that. All I was thinking about was like, dude, I'm going to the beach with my buddy. Like,
Yeah.
you know, as soon as he parked, I opened the car door and I was like, all right, Dad, you know, I heard what you said. I'll see you later. And just jumped out, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't even really processing what he was saying.
Right.
But I vividly remember he talked to me about that.
Damn, dude.
So then I went to my buddies and we got to the beach. We were meeting some other people there. It was a nice day. And so we basically got there, found the group of friends, threw our stuff down, and just went straight into the water.
Yeah.
We were there all day. The water was really cold. So
Okay.
after I went in the first time, you know, I had that thought in my head, you know, if I go back in, I just want to jump right in, get used to it. You know, that's
Yeah.
what
Right.
I was taught growing up. If it's cold,
Yeah.
just, you know, get in there.
Yeah.
So we
Oh
were in
my
there all
God.
day, you know, got back out. We were hungry, so we went over to this like sandwich place, went back on the sand. Before you know it, you know, the day's over and my buddy's getting a call from his mom. Hey, I'm on my way. I'll be there in like 45 minutes.
Right.
So we're all like, hey, let's go in the water one last time.
Oh
Which I'm
boy.
like, it's always that, you know?
Always.
Yeah.
Call out the last one.
Yeah.
Last one.
We're like, let's just go back in. So then with me knowing how cold the water is, I'm like, all right, you know, I'm going to dive into a wave, just get used to it. So I stand up with all my buddies. I got my buddy Travis. He's the one that I went with right next to me. We're running into the water. You know, I look to my left, look to my right. We're good. My feet hit the water and I see a wave coming at me. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to dive into this wave. And, you know, close my eyes, tuck my head down, put my hands out in front of me and just dive into a wave.
How far from the shore were you? Were you like
So-
knee deep? Were you ankles deep? Like
I don't know.
You don't remember?
I don't really remember, to be honest. I feel like I was smart enough to know I had to be deep enough to dive into a wave.
Yeah.
And so I dove into a wave and hit a sandbar, which is basically like a hill of sand underneath the wave. It was a strong current that day. So I don't know for the listeners if you know what a sandbar is, but if you've ever been to the beach, you know, sometimes you'll go out where it's supposed to be shallow and it'll be deep, or you'll go out deeper and it's super shallow.
Yeah.
So it's like the sand kind of moving underneath the water.
Right.
And where I dove, where it should have been deeper, was super shallow. Dove headfirst into a wave, hit the ground, instantly broke my neck.
Did you
and
know right away?
So I was conscious the whole time. Instantly,
Oh, that's
I
brutal.
dove headfirst, hit.
Dang.
The next thing I know, my whole body fell asleep. And the best way I can describe it to other people is like when your arm or leg falls asleep.
Yeah.
My entire body just went numb.
Yeah.
Just pins
Not
and
like
needles.
not tingly, not
No?
not
Okay.
super pins and needles. More so just like the numbness and lack of sensation.
Yeah.
Like now that I look back on it, like the water, like I couldn't feel the temperature of the water.
Right.
Like it just felt
Right
like I
away.
was floating.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's such a trip.
Were you floating on? Did you drown? I
So
mean,
I was floating face down in the water, still fully conscious, trying to like realize like, okay, what the heck just happened? And I'm trying to move, can't move anything. Try to turn my head to like lift my head to get out of the water to
Right.
take a breath.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that. Then, you know, I have all these thoughts going through my head. And then I finally realize I just broke my neck and paralyzed myself. Like after a while,
that
it just,
actually
it
registered.
just clicked. Because it was
God.
such
Wow.
it was such a distinct like uncomfortable feeling. Like I can't describe it. You know.
Do you remember like the pop or the snap, like from when it happened?
I don't. So either I don't remember or it didn't happen. Like I just hit and then that happened. So I don't remember distinctly hearing like a crunch or a crack. It was just impact and then nothing. So no pain. A lot of people are like, man, that must have hurt so bad. No pain, nothing.
It hit her on the inside.
Yeah. I was, inside was not a good sight.
Right, for sure.
So after that, you know, when I realized pretty sure I just broke my neck and I'm paralyzed because I can't freaking move. Then I think about, you know, my friends right next to me, like praying, like that someone realizes something is wrong.
Right.
But then, you know, I'm this rowdy jokester kid that has like this reputation of always messing around and playing jokes on my friends.
Boy who cried wolf.
Yeah. I literally thought they would look at me and just be like, Zach's joking. And then by the time they realized something was serious, I would have drowned in inhaled water. So with those thoughts going through my head, I basically accepted I was going to die that day. I didn't think I would live. Like
at 15, this is just
crazy
emotions.
Think this is probably within the time span of what, 30 seconds?
Probably. I talked to my buddy Travis. He said probably around 30 seconds to a minute. In my head, it felt like forever. But like
just for a second, if you're just listening in for the first time or anything, think of that. Just you're at the beach with your friends, and you are living life. You are LIVIN, and then within 30 seconds, you're contemplating death. Like what? Like, dude, that's such a heavy whirlwind. Like, that's the switch that gets flipped, and people don't understand. Like, life is so fragile, and you don't like have that perspective on a day-to-day basis. That, it can all end right here. It can all be, you know, dramatically change. That's heavy, man.
Literally a second. A second changed my life. You know.
Super
That's
heavy.
it. Snap my fingers. Boom. Paralyzed.
So did one of them end up coming to grab you? What happened?
Yeah. So now in my head, I'm like, all right, I don't think my friends are going to realize what happened to me, but I'm just going to hold my breath until I can't hold it anymore. So, you know, I don't know how long I was face down. Eventually, I got this weird feeling on my back, like this tingling feeling. And I thought one of my friends came up to me and kind of like poked me. I was like, hey, what's up? What's going on? Then next thing I know, I kind of float back out with a tide, and then my buddy flips, and then I'm flipped
You're
over.
still conscious.
I'm still conscious. So then I flip over.
Jeez, dude.
I take a huge breath of air. You know, I'm staring straight up into the sun. I can't see. Then I feel like someone is pulling me from my armpits and like dragging me out of the water. And then I'm getting hit in the face with waves. You know, waves are just coming in. The waves don't stop at the beach. So my buddy is trying to pull me out of the water. You know, I'm completely 100. My freshman year of high school, I wrestled 170 pounds. And I was like solid muscle. I was about, I don't know, 5'9", 5'10", a freshman.
Do you have a picture of that?
170. I might be able to send it to you.
Okay, we would definitely love to put it.
If you do, then it is right here.
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys.
We'd love to show that as we're telling the story.
Look at that spandex.
Yeah.
My
so
goodness.
cute, isn't he? Look at him.
That's like 3 X's in spandex right there.
Yeah, dude.
At least.
I was, you know. One thing I look back on too is at that age, I didn't realize like my own strength. Like I wish I would have been more confident in myself, you know, because I lost some wrestling matches and, you know, I could like take my dad on at that age. I was 15 years old. Like I could pick him up.
At
and
15 is like big because I was a super late bloomer.
How tall were you too?
So I would say I was probably like, I don't know, my freshman year, 5'8", 5'9". I'm 6 feet now.
Yeah.
That's muscly 5'8".
Yeah.
So I was a muscly guy. So now I'm complete dead weight. And my buddy's like 5'5", 125, 30 pounds.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's trying to pull me out of the water, you know, and I'm floating in the water, so I'm kind of weightless. But as he starts getting to shore, I just become heavier. And he's struggling, trying to pull me out. And he sees waves hitting me in the face. And like, you know, I'm trying to breathe for air. So next thing I know, I'm pulled out in the sand. And this is one thing I remember that I never will forget is I saw out of the corner of my eye my arms above my head because he was pulling me out.
Right.
And then he let go of them, and they like flopped to the ground like they weren't even a part of my body.
Right.
But they were connected to my body. Wow. And I remember just trying to move them and just nothing. Like I couldn't move them. They were so heavy.
Were you able to verbalize or talk to them, or were you in shock?
Then I just remember just trying to be like, call 911. Like I can't move. I'm paralyzed. Yeah. But nothing would come out.
Whoa. Gnarly.
And I've talked to Travis about this. He was like, dude, you kept trying to tell me something. I couldn't understand what you were saying.
What's your level like?
So I'm a C4.
So your diaphragm was already
incomplete.
Affected. Yeah.
But my C4 vertebrae was completely shattered. So they had to take it out, take all the broken pieces of bone out, and replace it with like a donor bone.
Dang.
So they didn't fuse your neck; they just put donor bone.
And
in
they
it?
did fuse it as well.
They fused it
yeah,
too? Okay.
like C3 to C6.
Did you end up getting a trach or anything
Really?
like that?
No trach. So
Okay.
I do have this stupid scar in front of my neck.
It's not
That's
stupid,
from the
it's
surgery,
sexy, bro. It's battle scars,
I know,
dude.
it looks
Come
like
on.
a hickey, you know.
Girls love
Let's
that.
rock those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Got
we're
the
all about to.
orale.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, see?
Careful these days. Careful.
Oh man, love it.
But yeah, I know that this thing is like, I was super insecure about it after it happened, but now I don't care. But it basically keloided. The scar where they fused me from the front, it
Yeah.
keloided, and then they cut open the back, and that healed fine.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
But I didn't have to have a trach, which is something I'm
What
very
happened with your
grateful
spine?
for.
So you broke your C4, completely destroyed that.
Yes.
What about the damage to your spine?
So what happened was when I broke my neck, swelling, my neck swelled and put pressure against my spinal cord.
Yeah.
So my spinal cord was never cut or severed, which I'm very grateful for. It
Yeah.
just basically got kinked. And the doctor basically described it as like, if you're drinking through a straw and you kink it
Right.
and
Oh,
try
I've
to
heard that
drink through it
analogy,
again,
yeah.
you know, you'll still get the soda, but it's not going to be as much.
Not as much, yeah.
So, you know, I can still get like little signals throughout my body. You know, I've gotten stuff back that not the average spinal cord injury has, you know, so yeah, I'm very grateful for that.
Absolutely.
But,
for sure.
basically my neck swelled up. Then after a while, I was able to kind of speak again and was just like, get the lifeguard. And so my buddy ran to get the lifeguard. Lifeguard came back. I just kept repeating like, I can't move. I'm paralyzed. So then he's like, all right, just like, don't move, which I'm like,
So, I mean, was your stomach in like your chest? I mean, were you like completely, I would be panicking.
so
at this
yeah,
point.
you know, that whole day is like, even though I was fully conscious, it's like a blur.
Totally.
I can't remember everything. Like I know what happened, but like, I
Your
talked to my
bell was
buddy.
probably wrong. You probably maybe had a concussion from slamming into a wall.
Yeah, I don't know. I had sand in my hair for like 30 days after my accident. Still just sand in my hair.
Just ingrained in
So
your,
compressed.
it
ingrained
was just
your
in
dome
my
from
in my
hitting that-
skull,
hitting that
man.
thing,
Yeah. So then, and I remember this was another like scary moment for me, was hearing the sound of the sirens and knowing they were coming for me. Like I knew these sirens are coming to
It's
pick me up.
eerie. I had the
It's just
same-
creepy.
I had the same thing, man.
Yeah.
I was up in my apartment because I didn't go to hospital till the next day.
Which is a huge issue with
That's
spinal
insane.
cord
Right,
injuries.
So
It's
yeah.
insane.
the swelling.
Yeah.
The swelling is what took you out, and you went right after, you know, and like
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. Just to think, you know, what could
Possibly,
have been,
yes.
you know, getting those steroids injected into you like
Yeah.
right away. It's crazy, man. Spinal cords are no joke.
Yeah. And so actually, you know, I didn't get surgery for 3 days after my accident.
Really?
So because it was
Wow.
Memorial Day, it's a holiday. Doctors aren't working. The doctors that are working already have scheduled surgeries.
Yeah.
So I got transferred to the closest hospital.
Which was?
It was Hoag Hospital.
Okay, Hoag's a
in
good
Newport.
hospital.
Yeah.
You know, they did their x-rays, confirmed I shattered my C4 vertebrae. I had spinal cord damage, but they're like, we can't do surgery. And on top of that, because of my swelling, they didn't want to do surgery. They wanted to wait till the swelling went down.
They did the same with me.
Yeah. So then I have a broken neck. They transfer me from Hoag to Chalk because I'm under 18. So then I go back in an ambulance with a neck brace on with a broken neck
Yeah.
still, get transferred to Chalk. Then they wait for my swelling to go down. Then they do the surgery.
Crazy.
All right, so tell us the moment your family walks in, your mom and dad specifically. How did that feel?
Yeah.
What was that
so
like?
Then again, my hospital stay is just like a blur of memory. I don't remember the exact moment like my parents came in, but I've talked to my parents about this, and they said, you know, they came in and I just kind of had like a smile on my face, and they were more the ones breaking down.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
I realized the severity of what happened. I'm
Denial
like a
just
very
kicks
like
in right away. You're
yeah,
like,
I'm a very like optimistic person. So
Yeah.
even that I couldn't move, I was like, you know, I'll be better. You know,
It's
like this isn't
temporary.
going to be forever.
Right.
yeah.
So, you know, I'm like, have a smile on my face. Like I tell my mom, like, it's going to be okay, you know? And so it kind of settled in over time for me. It never hit me like
Yeah.
at once,
Same.
which I think a lot of people in our situation, it happens to them.
Yeah.
And that causes them to like go into like depression and just like all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, you know? And for me, it just kind of, I slowly accepted it. And then by the time I was fully accepted it, I was like, all right, you know, this is the reality of my
Yeah.
situation.
Come on, was it that smooth though? Be honest with us.
I make it sound like
Was there a
good.
moment where you were just like, man, this is not what I signed up for? I'm only 15, 16, 17 years old. I haven't done this, that, or the other yet.
Yeah.
And now I have this body to try to do
The
those
first
things with.
time as a 15-year-old teenager going through puberty, that I had to have my parents shave my pubes
Tough.
because I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
you know? And like that, and then having them like wipe my own ass because I couldn't do that.
You could be like Marty. Marty doesn't shave. He's got like a bush down there.
Oh man,
glorious.
Yeah.
Like the Zohan. Like meet the Zohan. Yeah, yeah, it's glorious. It's glorious.
Yeah, man, I like that area nice and trim. So you know, at 15 years old, I'm starting to, you know.
Well, plus, let's get into some of the details here. You obviously wear a condom catheter, so if you have hair down there, it will get caught, which you not necessarily.
That's
feel
like you gotta let that get long though. Like, you know, I'm a once a week shaver. You know, I don't let it grow past like a certain point.
No.
When I first started on the journey, I wore the condom cath in situations like that. You had to be clean, or else the condom wouldn't stick to
rip out your hairs, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Fun.
Can you explain to our audience what a condom catheter is?
Yeah, absolutely. So
look straight into the camera and get serious.
Cord injuries,
no,
with spinal cord injuries.
I'm kidding.
And I think this is a good thing to talk about too, because people see people in wheelchairs and think that it's only like a physical disability,
right?
Not internally. Like our bowel and bladders also get paralyzed. Like we can't poop on our own. You know, some people can't pee and have to internal cath.
Right.
Thankfully for me, I got some of my bladder function back when I have to go. I can't hold it, but I'll pee. So
your
wear
bladder,
a condom catheter.
your bladder is reflexive.
Yeah.
So like if you like drink alcohol or if you had like water, it just kind of
when it gets to a certain point, it'll release.
Okay.
Like I don't just drink and it comes out. You know, it's got to fill up to a certain spot, and then I'll be able to pee and release it. So I just wear a condom catheter. It's a condom that goes over my penis, connects to my tube and into a leg bag.
Okay.
And so, you know, in the spinal cord injury world, that's pretty big. You know, and also I got a lot of my feeling back.
It's pretty big.
So I was very not happy if I had to cath myself.
Let me ask you though, when I had that situation, I felt like UTIs, I would get them frequently.
With a condom catheter?
Yeah, and it would, because sometimes the urine will sit in the condom catheter every now and then.
Okay.
And I felt that it became an issue. But it could have just been me. I could have been symptomatic to it. Are those issues that you deal with?
I have never had to be hospitalized for a UTI in the 10 years I've been in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and let's clarify too. UTIs can be super, super.
I think like life-threatening if they get bad enough.
Painful, but very gnarly for us. Like I have.
Have you gotten septic before?
I haven't gotten septic, but there's times where all of a sudden my back will like really like throw me out of my chair. My spasms will get so bad, and if you don't catch that infection quick enough, like it'll really take you out. Like there's people that. Yeah, you know, literally are hospitalized.
I've gotten septic before.
Just a UTI. It's like,
I was explaining this to someone else the other day because like girls will think of a UTI as like, oh, you just have to pee all the time, and it's not that you have to pee all the time. For us in our situation, we become physically ill, like as if we have
your body almost will start to shut down.
Yeah, and I mean like from aches to fever chills. I mean it attacks us very, very like it's almost like having the COVID.
Yeah, and because our symptoms don't present themselves in a typical fashion, they show themselves in other ways. It's called autonomic dysreflexia.
Yep.
You know, so for those, like if you can't feel that you have to pee, you may start getting a headache. You may start getting the chills. Like I know when I first got hurt, the first thing I noticed was like the hair on my arms would stand up. I'd get goosebumps. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, probably have to pee. And it's like now I could feel it, thankfully.
Yes.
But even if I'm holding it long enough, I'll still get those like goosebumps. It's so weird, man. But you know, your body will do some weird things when it, you know, can't alert you properly. It'll give you some strong signals that you don't want.
What were some of the other early challenges you faced after you were going
Especially
through?
being a young gun. I mean, like being in school.
Yeah.
Still, like, luckily, I got to go through school and do a lot of the things of, you know, being active and all of that. And now you just had to pick back up and get back into high school.
High school, which kids aren't always the most accepting. So can you kind of tell us about that experience?
Absolutely. You know, high school, my high school and like what they did for me after my accident is amazing. I have nothing bad to say about the high school. They were very accommodating. So like I said, I broke my neck 2 weeks before my freshman year ended and they just passed me for my class.
Well, I'm sure you had pretty good grades.
Hey, if I got a C, I was happy. So anyways, but yeah, they passed me. And then, so I got released from like rehab August. Then my birthday hit, I turned 16. Then that's, oh my gosh, September. I went back. Actually, no, I lied. my sophomore year I was homeschooled. My junior and senior year I went back
so your
part-time.
parents actually gave you a year to kind of get more comfortable in your situation
But
before
I
you
didn't
went back to
want
school?
so I wasn't ready to go back to high school, but I didn't want to get held back a year. So I did homeschooling for myself.
Why weren't you ready? What was holding you back, you think? Just getting your mind around everything that's going on?
new. You know, I'm 16 years old. I know I'm, adjusting to this new life.
Yeah.
You know, I had to have help with like draining my leg bag. You know, I couldn't feed myself, I don't think, at that point. I just don't think I was mentally ready.
Yeah.
So I didn't go back till my junior year, and that was only part-time.
Okay.
What was that like, though? Like, give us, what kind of accommodations did they make for you? I mean, going back in a whole different body and a situation, like, what was your first day back? Let's just start there.
Dude, I was terrified.
Yeah.
It was literally like going in my first day of like my freshman.
Was there any, your school's so
scary.
new and small, was there anybody else even in a wheelchair?
Yes, but not spinal cord injury related.
Like birth defect, you think? Or
one guy, I think he was diagnosed with something. Where
Cerebral palsy or something?
no, it's where you slowly go paralyzed.
ALS?
But I don't think it was ALS.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was already in a wheelchair, and I actually remember seeing him like cruising around the campus, but just kind of like not thinking anything more of it.
Right. Yeah.
So then, I go back my junior year. I only go back for my electives. So they let me go do that.
what classes were those?
So I would do.
So I'm thinking about your hands. I'm thinking about like.
So I did ceramics.
writing.
I did ceramics.
Okay.
So I got to do.
Oh, wow.
I had a super cool ceramics teacher, and basically I just got to play with clay.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it can be kind of like hand therapy.
Like Ghost, doing molding clay together.
Yeah, it was really
I'd
hard.
be sitting there like draining my nose.
Yeah. No, it was hard, but
using my chin to shape it like.
yeah.
This isn't funny, Marty. Be serious.
He was. No, dude, it's all good. It was a cool experience to do that, and he was like, just do what you can, and I'll pass you.
Oh, right on.
And then what was cool is after that, then I would get to go to lunch, and then I get to see all my friends.
I love lunch.
That was the best part for me. Was
period.
all my friends were in one place at one time, and I got to see all of them.
Okay.
And for me, I'm
what was their
such a social
reaction though?
person.
Like, did they walk in with open arms? Were they hesitant around you?
It was a little awkward. I could tell they didn't know like what to do, like to shake my hand, to hug me. I'd shake my hand. I'd put my hand out to shake, and they would squeeze it, and like I wouldn't squeeze back, and I could see the like in their eyes, like, oh, what the heck, kind of confused,
Probably the first time they ever felt a hand that was
a lifeless hand,
Yeah.
So it was hard, and then I was, I was such a social person, and I missed out like on a lot of like parties, didn't get invited to a lot of things. I don't know if that's because like they didn't know if I could go to this place or not, or if they didn't want me to go.
Definitely not. Didn't want you.
I don't think they didn't want me, but I had to have a babysitter.
Yeah.
And at that age, they're not going to want to babysit me at a party.
Especially that age. It's tough at this age.
Yeah,
like having to go out, like someone wants to go out and party, and for us, like you can't just haul an Uber.
Yeah.
Because there aren't wheelchair access vehicles around.
Yeah. And I don't know
so
if
someone has to like be DD. Someone's got to take care of you.
No one wants to be
kind of
DD.
Yeah. And otherwise, you're paying like $20 an hour for someone to just take you out to have a good time.
Who was your main caregiver at the time?
Dude, from my high school, my mom.
Yeah.
So like, if you wanted to go to a party, your mom would have to probably go.
Drop me off. Oh yeah, and like after a while, there would be like some parties where I knew the house and I knew it was accessible.
Okay.
And they dropped me off, and then just like, all right, text me when you want to get picked up.
Did you have like a Maine Buddy that would like, hey man, I don't care about your pee bag, I'll drain it for you?
So I had friends that would do that.
Yeah.
I don't think they enjoyed doing it, but they were very cool, and like they would do it for me.
Okay.
It was still like a little awkward because dude, it's so hard. We're like 16, 17 years old, and like only really at that age you only care about yourself, and like
absolutely.
I don't blame them. Like I would want to probably just party and have fun. I wouldn't have to babysit my buddy,
Right.
So it was very frustrating and hurtful at the time, but now I can look back and be like, I don't take it personally. I'm sure I'd probably be
the friends you went
position.
to the beach with that day. Did they stay around? Did they feel like survivor's guilt?
Yeah.
So I dealt with that a little bit in my injury too.
Yeah. So my main buddy Travis that I went with, the other people we met with, I had met them like that was our first time I ever met them.
Okay.
So for Travis, he said it was really hard. He thought that like I blamed him because he's the one who invited me there that day. And about 2 years right after my accident, for 2 years after my accident, like I did not hear from him. He just kind of dropped off the face of the world. And I was really hurt and pissed off. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, you're not the one who's paralyzed. Like, I need you, you know?
Yeah.
Not only that, you have a great attitude about it. So it's like if you
Yeah.
guys hung out, you weren't gonna like be a pity party.
No, not
You
at
know?
all. But I think it was more hard on him
Yeah,
than it actually was on me.
it's similar. I've dealt with similar situations,
Yeah.
so you're definitely not alone on that.
I think it's a common theme. I think
Sure.
we've all seen our circles shrink just from what we're going through. And take that into perspective. I mean, if you can't handle being friends or knowing someone that is going through something, you don't want to like associate with that.
Yeah.
Especially
You
at
better get
16 or
yourself ready
17.
in case something ever happens in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like life is tough, dude. You gotta be able to handle it. And you know, that survivor's guilt, whatever it may be, you know, I think we all have our own personal stories about it.
Right.
Like, you know, my best friend, we've had a falling out. Nothing that was ever like, you know, angry or combative, but it was just like there's something there that just doesn't work anymore. It's just you know, there's some blockage.
Some people
Yeah.
just can't handle it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I lost a lot of friends, and that was really hard. Friends that I expected to stay around didn't,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
also friends that I didn't expect to stay around
Showed their-
rose to the occasion. And, like, I have a small friend group, but, like, I'm so close with them. You
What-
know? And
What
nothing
about
can break it.
dating in high school? Was that like
I did not date.
No.
like
I
on
was super-
purpose or
I was just so insecure about myself at that time.
what were you insecure about?
Just the fact that, like, you know, I have this leg bag. I can't even drain it on my own. Like, I can't pick a girl up. You know, I can't initiate a kiss. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't even have use of my hands. Like, I can't dance with them. I didn't go to any dances. Didn't go to prom.
No.
We
I
gotta
didn't,
throw you
no,
to
I didn't
prom,
want to.
bro.
I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing it. It's
Yeah. Anybody, you know, out there? I
I'm
think,
just gonna throw this idea out there. We need to do a Bayside Zach Morris prom. You know
He's
what I
kind
mean?
of got the Zach Morris.
Yeah, I
hair.
think you do
Yeah,
look
they
like
have
you
to share the same.
Throw
name.
Zach Morris up. You look
Right?
just
Look
like
at
Zach
this,
Do
Morris.
I?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yes.
all
God,
right.
I think you still have some sand in there. No
Yeah.
wonder it's the sandy
Little
blonde.
sandy
Hey,
hair.
it exfoliates
Sandy
the skull
blonde,
now, bro.
right?
He has no
Oh,
dandruff.
yeah.
He's good to go.
I love it, dude. Yeah, it keeps no dry skin.
Yeah, right. Little
kinda nice.
sunbum, sea salt in your hair.
So
It's like,
you went through homeschooling. Who did most of the homeschooling? Your mom too?
No, so actually, I
A
had
teacher
a teacher.
came?
Teacher
Okay.
came,
oh, cool.
taught me my core classes.
Okay.
So then I ended up graduating, and I graduated with my same class. That was something I was very adamant about.
Dude, good for you.
Did not want to get held back. I wanted to graduate with all my friends.
Went on stage, everything, cap and gown, did all that.
Dude, so I actually walked to get my diploma in front of my whole high
What?
school.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
No
so I was going
way,
to
dude.
Project Walk at the time, which is
Okay.
a physical therapy out in Oceanside. And long story short, we made it work to where two of the physical therapists drove down with a walker. And they basically, I was the first one to be called. And so
Nice.
they stood me up, locked my hands in, and then one person was in the front to guide the walker.
Yeah.
Another person was behind me helping me take steps. And I
Dang,
walked
that's
to
sick.
get my diploma from my whole class.
Good
That's
for you.
awesome.
That's
Awesome.
It was
sick.
probably the scariest moment, but also like one of the greatest moments of my life.
The
after that.
adrenaline must have been
Yeah.
at an all-time high that day.
It was. I'm so glad I did it, and I did not want to do it because I was too scared, and I made the decision like 3 days before graduation.
Wow.
When I was like, all right, my mom was like, you need to give the school yes or no today, and I knew in my heart I had to do it, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And at the end,
How
I'm
was
like,
your
no, screw
walking
it.
leading up to that? I mean, walking's no joke, and I'm a central spinal
Yeah.
cord, so my legs are better off than my arms.
I
But if I were to
too.
just walk on without some kind of support under me to catch me in case I fell, like that's gnarly. You know, like
no, I didn't
that's
have. If my legs would have buckled or gave out, I would have
Right.
just fallen
Yeah.
to the ground.
Yeah.
So what I did was, I stood a little bit before, just freestanding.
Yeah.
So I'm able to, I can't just do it on my own. But if someone like picks me up, I'm able to lock my knees out and I can just stand.
Yeah.
So and
When
I
you
have
do that,
crazy
do you feel like it
spasms.
shoots all the way through your body and locks
Straight
your back
up,
out?
bro? I'm like a freaking pencil.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's so intense, then my legs, because they're used to being in a sitting position.
Right.
So I'll stand and my knees will kick up to my chest like midair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll have to get
Hamstrings are
throw
just
back
locked
down.
and loaded,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, but
ready
your
to pull back.
glutes, there's no way I could slide a credit card through it, I bet.
Oh no,
dude.
bro.
Yeah. No.
Because when I do the same in the pool, I always tell my
love
physical,
that.
grab my butt, grab it. Let me know what's going on back there. Because when my glutes activate, then I have a really good standing posture.
Yeah.
Which I know you can
Yeah.
probably agree with.
Yes. So, I stand, kind of kill some of the spasms because
Yeah.
my spasms will overtake my body.
Yeah.
And
And
then
you got to get that standing in.
Yeah, I was just gonna
It
say
takes
that,
out it takes out the spasms,
blood
you know,
pressure.
blood pressure, everything. And the one thing, if only people had something they could
Trying to think
use
of.
for something like
It's kind of easy too,
yeah,
right?
and you stand.
Easy.
It's easy to stand.
Easy.
Huh.
Easy stand.
Oh,
Easy stand. Yes.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
right,
Our
yeah.
friends at Easy Stand will take care of you.
Yeah.
Honestly, best standing frames, quality, and customer service is amazing. But even better than that, all the benefits that it does for your legs,
Yeah.
and your body, your blood pressure. I mean,
So
your
important.
bowel and bladder
So important.
function. The list goes on and on and on. So it's good stuff, man. So you got to just stand up for.
So after you graduate, what's next on the list?
Yeah. So after I graduate, I never plan on going to college.
Why not?
2 reasons. I just didn't like school and I couldn't afford it.
Okay.
And I mean, at the time, so I'm a freshman, I don't realize you can take out loans, you can get scholarships.
Right.
So, just with like my parents' income, like I knew they couldn't afford to send me to college.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd want to, especially with like my grades. Like they're not going to want to send someone if they're not going to take it seriously. I never really took school seriously. As long as I passed and got by, I was cool with
I
it.
just feel like you're a super intelligent guy, so I really think
I've
you just
changed,
half-assed.
I've changed.
You've half-assed all your schooling in high school.
Yeah, dude, I pretty much did up until like I started college. Then I was able to get a wheelchair scholarship, swim with Mike for injured athletes.
Props to Swim with
Swim
Mike.
with Mike.
I am also a Swim with Mike alumni.
Hell yeah.
Amazing organization. Started when, one of the members of the swim team, USC, became paralyzed. Everyone came together, have a fundraiser. Mike said he was going to swim in that pool the next year.
Yeah.
And, dude, they just started paying it forward, bringing kids back to education. It's an amazing organization.
I also swim with Mike on Mondays at the YMCA. If you're watching this, Mike, what up, dude? I'm giving you a shout out, bro.
Mike reminds me of that Rob Lowe commercial. It's like, I like to go to the rec center and watch folks swim. He's like all hairy and stuff.
Yeah, good story, bro.
So
good story.
good. Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Right on.
Anyways.
All right.
Let's go
Anyway,
for
so
it.
dude, tell us about like what was the transition that happened mentally that gave you the confidence to sort of be like, there's more to this. There's more than me to just sitting dormant in my chair, not doing anything with my life. I need more. I think I'm going to take on this task of college, which is a bitch.
Yes.
What happened? Tell us about that transition.
Yeah. So, I think I've been blessed just to kind of have a naturally strong mentality, like just my whole life. And I don't like to say that because I don't like to sound like I'm bragging, but I've just always had a strong mentality. And so I think once my accident happened, once I realized the severity of it, that I probably won't walk again, or I won't be able to do a lot of things I used to be able to do. And I'm okay with that. I want to move forward and I want to have a future for myself. So I just thought, okay, what do I need to do to have a future and to be independent?
Is there anything you give credit to that got you to that point, though? A conversation with somebody, a book you read, a movie, athlete?
Dude, back then,
something had to spark it, right?
Dude, all right. Well, music.
Music.
Eminem. I love Eminem.
All right.
Hey, he sings the "Lose Yourself."
Yeah.
There's a verse: "Success is my only motherfucking option. Failure's not."
Hell
That's
yeah.
my mentality.
Yes.
Failure's not an option. Like my only option is to go forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I can't just like sit there and do nothing.
Love it.
And so, I didn't really have a whole lot of idols I looked up to. I was never into sports. Like I watched movies, but I never had posters of people up in my room really.
Yeah.
And so I was just, I don't know, I had that mindset, and music really helped me a lot just to pump me up. And
Music's
like,
a huge motivator.
It's
so
huge.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's huge. It got me through so much.
Well, dude, and I can relate in the way that my ways of venting were stripped away from me because I was such a physical being.
Yeah.
I would go out skating, I'd go surfing, I'd go punch a wall, I'd go do whatever. And all that's taken away from me. I can't go.
You're a pretty good bowler too.
Yeah, so great at bowling.
Yeah, I mean that spin you had off the right leg. Yeah.
I'll show you a good 7-10 split sometime.
Yeah. Can't wait.
But no, dude, it's the music is like it's the escape now.
For sure.
You get locked into your own world. You put those headphones on, nothing else is there, and you finally get that one-on-one time with your mind.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of those times maybe you had, like some of the tough times you're going through, like emotionally, and just tell us about that.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing for me, and also anyone with a spinal cord injury, is losing your independence.
Oh, yes.
I was such an independent person. My parents always joked with me and were like, you're going to have your bags packed by the front door the day of your 18th birthday.
Yeah.
You're going to be ready to move out and go be on your own. I was always doing stuff for myself, going from one thing to the next. That's very general, just losing all of that and now having to literally rely on someone to freaking get me a drink of water.
Right.
To scratch my nose at one point. When I was first injured, I couldn't move anything below my neck. And like when my face would itch, I'd have to describe where the itch was on my face.
Right.
Up, down, itch harder, And so little things
Such
like
a
that,
pain.
dude. Like,
I end up looking like Hector Salamanca from Breaking Bad. I'm sitting there,
just trying to like,
dude, just trying to
itch or
like,
just
yeah,
doing
dude,
anything,
like,
dude.
can't
Like,
itch your face without touching it. It's just
I think that's one of the worst
brutal.
things, you know, for the people watching. Next time you have an itch, see how long you can
Don't
go.
do it.
See how
Don't
long
do
you
it.
can go without itching it.
Yeah, that inner ear
Torture.
itching. My girlfriend knows now. She knows what I look like. I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, and she knows what ear. Like, oh, dude.
Dude, I'm like getting itchy right now. Like,
Yeah, for
you
real.
know? So
For real.
just like, yeah, all the little things that like I took for granted.
What about your house? Was your house set up for you?
So
You have
luckily,
stairs or-
my parents had a first story home.
Okay.
They had
Nice.
just replaced the whole ground with like wood and tile.
Oh, perfect.
And so
Yeah.
Timing, yeah.
the two
Yeah.
major modifications we had to do was just build a cement ramp around the back side of the house that I could just roll into,
Yeah.
and then make a roll-in shower.
Okay.
They had to kind of rebuild one of the bathrooms and
Yeah.
put a roll-in shower. I think and widen the doorways was the other thing. But luckily, like, yeah, I didn't have a two-story house, no carpet.
Yeah.
I had a backyard with a side gate that I could roll down.
Yeah.
What
So,
about,
yeah, I was
What about
lucky.
your younger siblings? How did they react to this? Were they helpful?
Yeah.
Did they like
They-
steal your food? I'm like, what? Come get it now, punk.
Dude, so yeah, so little they were able to kind of get back at me a little bit for all the times I beat
Yeah.
them up and tormented them.
Nice.
So you know, I couldn't feed myself, and I remember one time I was at Costa Colina, still in rehab, and my little siblings
go to
came to visit
TLC?
me.
TLC?
no.
Or just like outpatient therapy
Just
there?
I did just to be inpatient because I live
Inpatient.
there.
Oh,
I lived
crazy.
there
Yeah.
for
Okay.
like 8 or 9 weeks.
Really? All right.
Yeah. So they come visit me and like they'd feed me and stuff. And I don't remember what I did, but my little sister had to have been at like 5 at a time. And I said something or did something like while she was
She
feeding
threw
me.
it at you.
She's like, "Careful, Zach. Like I'm stronger than you now. I can beat you up."
Oh my
I was
god.
like,
Yeah.
"Damn."
That's good.
The dude.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
Gotta
man.
love her. God bless her.
but I think they handled it. Obviously, at the time, they had no idea, you know, what a spinal cord injury was
Right.
or
Yeah.
that I was paralyzed. So, I think they handled it really well, and my injury also like affected their lives individually a lot,
Yeah.
and you know, helped shape them into the people they are now.
They're
For
probably
sure.
more independent because a lot of the focus went to you.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing I actually didn't think about for a lot. It was when my accident happened, it's like almost having a newborn baby. Like, all the attention was
Yeah.
on me all the
Right.
time, and
Yeah.
I think that was one thing they did feel was that, you know, my mom kind of paid more attention to me and not as much to them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, if you want to apologize, you can do it right now.
I'm good. I don't have anything to apologize for. No,
Yeah.
no, I love you guys and
Let's
stuff,
take
but
this opportunity to apologize to no one.
Absolutely no one.
Absolutely
the double
no
champ
one.
does whatever he wants.
yeah.
So good.
So you know, it's hard though. That's also another thing. Feeling guilt for like
Oh yeah.
the constant care I need.
Dude.
It sucks because like I'm like I feel
Tell me
guilty,
about
but then
it.
I'm like, why do I feel guilty? Like I can't control this. But then
Right.
it's like I need more attention. You know.
Yeah.
It's
dude,
hard.
I feel that same thing, especially without the use of my arms. There's so much, you know,
Yeah.
independence that's lost there. And I just hate seeing any strain or stress put on somebody as a
Yeah.
result of, you know, my condition.
Yeah,
It
and you can
just-
tell. You can
yeah.
tell when
Yeah.
they're like, you know, and I'm just like, then it'll cause me to not ask for something that I want because I don't want to
Or
ask them.
need, maybe.
Or need,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you could be dying of thirst, or maybe you just want a snack, and you're just
Yeah.
like, screw it. I don't want to bother anybody
Exactly. Yeah. You know, I've been there. You know, there's
Yeah.
times where I will sacrifice, you know, something I need or want. Like you said, like a lot of times I'm freaking thirsty and I can't
Yeah.
get water. But, you know, they just did a bunch of things for me and they'll be like, okay, is there anything else you need? And I'll just be like, no, I'm good. And like 2 minutes later, I'm like, I'm
right now.
thirsty.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, what the hell? So yeah, it's hard.
So I know you went back to school, and before that, though, I remember you having a caregiver that wasn't your mom.
Yes.
Did you go through a lot of caregivers, or because I think I saw you with the same person a lot?
Yeah,
Actually.
I've only had a handful. I have been very lucky to have a good experience with caregivers.
Yeah.
I know other people don't have good experiences.
Absolutely.
And have to go through multiple.
And that's a credit to you, let me tell you. Because the people who go through caregivers, I see them and they're constantly in friction. They're constantly
I think they're
emotional.
just kind of like very like OCD or kind of rude. And I don't know.
Yes.
For me, I'm like, why would I want to be a dick to someone that is helping me?
Right.
Yeah.
Where's that going to get? Like, they're just going to slowly resent me. And, you know, I don't want that. And I
Yeah.
don't like conflict. So I always try to be respectful and say, like, please and thank you for any of my caregivers.
Yeah.
And we've touched on that. It's something, there's something to be said about, you know, the people who have the heart and be willing to help somebody, but it's also something to be the kind of person that someone wants to take care of.
Yeah.
And help.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, because like you said, there's some people that are just so short, and their expectations, like attention's all on me. I need this. I deserve it. And it's just like, dude, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
You know, seriously.
Yeah. Hashtag don't be
Nobody
a dick.
wants to take care of a dick,
I came with a slogan recently. Don't be the stereotype.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Hashtag
For sure,
don't be the
dude.
stereotype.
Yeah. People
Like-
in wheelchairs. Yeah. You don't like, I can't remember how many times I heard like someone offers to open up a door for someone in a wheelchair and they're like, I can do it on my own.
Yeah,
And it's
don't
just
be
like,
that guy.
dude, just say thank you. Like
Don't be that guy.
they have good interest in heart. And I've been paralyzed for 10 years. Like I've never like been shut down by someone when I've asked a stranger to help me with something, or like when I ask someone to open a door for me, like they're like, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And they probably feel good doing that. They're like, oh, I did a
Yeah.
good deed for someone,
Yeah.
So
Have you had any bad experiences though?
not really.
Yeah,
No.
I was surprised to hear we had our last female guest had like she'd clip somebody in the ankles, and like guys have actually hovered over her and said something mean, and I'm like, never had
That's the
experience
thing.
like that.
Right.
Women in wheelchairs usually have more bad experiences like that versus guys.
Right.
In my like experience, usually it's the women that like will have like guys that are weird or like will do something that is uncomfortable or like I don't know.
I don't know if it's
but
an expectation that gets placed on guys because we do make up the mass majority of the wheelchair population.
90% to be
just
like
because
exact,
we're stupid, apparently.
we're idiots.
dude, there's something.
That
in it,
that's
yeah.
let's touch on that fact though. Guys are the predominantly the ones in wheelchairs. Over 80 something percent, I think 82, because we are the risk takers. We drive motorcycles, we jump off cliffs, we dive into sandbars, we jump into pools without looking at the depth.
Yeah.
We do stupid crap like that. So it's usually the male demographic that is in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why guys look at us differently because when they turn around and they see us, they're like, "Damn, that could be me."
Yeah. Oh, that's.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
there's
damn,
a
that could be me.
relatability there. Yeah.
I hope a lot of guys look at like us and see that. It's hard because again, I was so young when my accident happened. And it's hard for me to like think. I had to mature and grow up super fast.
Yeah.
At 15 years old, 16, I'm like, all right, I was so far ahead of a lot of my friends mentally, and I look at them and just like see some of the things that they would do, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
That makes
Why do
you
you
feel
do that,
even
bro?
more isolated.
and then now I'm
different.
like, I can't relate to them because they're still doing
Yeah.
immature stuff, and I'm
Right.
like, I don't want to do that, and then I get kind of like isolated and
Yeah.
cut out from the group,
Yeah.
So did you go towards support groups? How'd you deal with that?
Yeah. Honestly, the only support group I went to was when I first broke my neck and went to Casa Clina every Friday. They had a support
Yeah.
group.
How long did
But
you
the
do
thing
that
was,
for?
dude, I was 15 years old, and the next youngest person was like 25.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it just goes up from there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, I can't relate to anyone. I'm the youngest. I'm the kid here. Like, this is stupid. Like, I didn't want to be there. So I went to one or two and then just didn't go back.
Same. Same.
I didn't really. And again, like I'm still a teenager after I got out of the hospital. Like I didn't go to any support groups really. I basically just had like my family.
Yeah.
And
My
Eminem.
biggest.
And
yeah,
Eminem.
And Eminem, bro. Yeah. Thank you, Marshall.
So I remember, if I remember correctly, when you went to college, you actually dormed though, right?
So I got an opportunity.
Dang.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
ballsy.
think
Pretty
dude,
ballsy.
I wanted that. And like I said, I probably would have moved out like my 18th birthday. I
Yeah.
was a very independent person. I
Yeah.
wanted this experience. It was scary, but so I went to Cal State Fullerton. Still go there.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm doing my master's right now, so it's
What was your
exciting.
BA? What's your
bro.
BA?
BA was in human services,
Okay.
which I had never heard about until I basically was a sophomore at Cal State Fullerton, undeclared, and they're like, all right, dude, you got to declare something. Like, you're already finishing all your GEs.
Yeah.
And so I had a counselor from Department of Rehab, and so she kind of was like, hey, you should check out human services. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
One semester I took intro and freaking just loved it.
Well, tell us about it.
what it
Yeah.
is. I mean,
So
we think we
it's-
service humans with our podcast.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that it?
It's
Oh,
cool.
yeah,
In
something
another
like
way,
that.
It's
Yeah.
basically like you go into like anything where teaching, mental health. It's basically like helping others.
Okay.
And then there's different tracks, so you can do like gerontology, mental education.
Gerontology. What is that?
That is working with the elderly,
Okay,
old people.
Geriatrics.
Geriatrics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep your liver head spotted ends up on beautiful mother, you geriatric.
Yes, dude.
Step
Brothers,
Brothers,
bro.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yes.
I freaking love that movie. I could watch that movie just on
Oh, yeah.
repeat.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. Everyone knows that cops doesn't start till 4.
I feel left out, but all right.
Yeah, but cops
bro.
doesn't happen anymore. We won't get into that.
Yeah.
So dude, tell us about going through human services, the college experience. Damn,
And in a
dude, like,
dorm.
It's just
in a
that. I
dorm,
mean, I
like-
could just talk so much about that.
yeah, just give us like the high level. Like, what was that like?
You had
Yeah.
a roommate?
So Cal State Fullerton, they have dorms and they have on-campus apartments, 4
Okay.
bedroom, 2 bath, but they only usually give those to the juniors and seniors.
Right.
So
Usually.
Usually.
they made an exception for me.
Hell yeah.
They gave me an apartment. It was a 4 bedroom. One of the bath was like a roll-in shower. It was sick.
Dude,
People in
I
wheelchairs
should have
just
went to
get
college.
everything, right?
Dude,
should've went to
then
college
they
at
gave me this
26.
little remote that I would put on my lanyard with a button that I pushed. It would open
Life
my
alert?
apartment building.
Oh, come on.
No, so I could get
Yeah.
in my apartment building, then go to my door, push it again, and it would open my door. So I
Oh,
completely do that on my
man.
own.
This
sounds
this is
dope.
cool to hear because was thinking about accessibility.
Dude,
To
no,
hear
they-
this
they had good
is
accessibility.
encouraging so many people to go to Cal
Yeah,
State
it gets
Fullerton
even
right now.
better.
Okay.
So normally they basically will charge a student per room.
Yeah.
They gave me 3 rooms for the price of 1. 1 for me to sleep in, 1 for my caregiver to sleep in, and a 3rd for like my studio, basically where I had all my textbooks and where I do my homework. Because my medical supplies took up my own room.
Yeah.
And dude, these are small, like freaking, I don't
Oh,
even know,
it's a
square
dorm,
feet,
yeah.
like 50 square feet. I don't know how big that is, but
Dude,
tiny,
gnarly.
tiny rooms.
Yeah.
So they gave me 3 for the price of 1.
So how did that work with your caregiver in another room? Did they like just come at various points in the night to turn you? And
Yeah,
stuff
so
like
what
that?
would happen is they would basically put me to bed. They would sleep there. I'd have a baby monitor in my room, so I just
Yeah.
yell until
Yeah,
they
yeah.
woke up.
Yeah. I have
Sometimes,
one of
dude,
those.
I like to have men as caregivers because of transferring.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it'd be nice to have a woman shower me, but I'm more like.
Let me just
I
tell
don't
you that
want-
is a very nice experience. I
Yeah.
do enjoy regularly.
Yes, you know that is a nice, but for me it was more important to have someone that had strength. That if I fell on the ground, they could get me
It's
off.
all about your needs. All about
Um,
your needs.
But some of them were bigger guys, and you know they just freaking sack out, and like I'd be screaming for like 10
Yeah.
minutes, like
Yeah.
wake up.
Oh,
But
gnarly.
so yeah, they would sleep there. Then they would get me up in the morning, get me dressed 100%. Then they would leave the
Yeah.
whole day. And at that point, I was pretty independent. I had a device that I got that I could drain my own leg bag. That was my
sick.
biggest thing, is draining my own leg bag.
Yeah.
You know,
What
I
kind of
couldn't do
device is
that.
that? I'm just
So
curious.
there's 2 ones. One is called a JB3, which is
JB3?
JB3, if you look it up. And it's more of a manual one that attaches to your leg bag. And then you basically have this little thing that you'll connect to the side of your chair that you pull, and then it releases the tube.
Into the
just to
toilet?
the ground. I just go on the ground. You roll over grass.
Okay.
Right on,
Anywhere
there you go.
outside. Yeah. Just water the grass.
Cool.
So then years later, I mean, that was like the only reason I could live on campus independently is because I could drain my bag on my own. Like
Yeah.
that was a huge deal.
You must have felt
Insane.
so great doing
Dude,
that.
that gave me
Yeah.
my independence.
Yeah.
So then years after that, I found another one that is a Bluetooth wireless leg bag drainer, which is the one I use currently. And I
Yeah.
basically have this little button that I push on my keys. I push it, and then it releases this thing that pinches the tube on my leg bag. So I push it, and it releases it. It drains my bag. Then as soon as I let go of the button, it pinches it again.
Oh,
On your
wow.
phone?
No, it's just like a
keys?
remote.
A little,
little remote.
Yeah.
How much
Yeah.
hand function do you think he could use that? Because he could
I
Do
actually.
would
you have to have
say-
some pressure to be able to apply to it?
I can show you it later.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we
that
can
would
try
be
it
a
out.
game changer for you.
Yeah.
If it could
Yeah.
work for you.
And
Just
so
pee on
that
people when I want.
Well, you spit on everybody when you drink a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, just
Hitting
Hey.
2 angles right there
Yeah.
would be great.
it's getting slippery.
Yeah, it is. One wet.
yeah.
I have to ask, dude. So you said, throughout high school, you didn't date. You didn't go to dances.
Yeah, no.
This is college, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that? What was the scene?
Yeah.
College is
You know?
awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So my freshman year, I didn't really kind of start putting myself out there until I was living on campus, because I had my place to myself. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to bring a chick back to my parents' house.
Right.
Can't really do
Yeah.
anything.
I
and it's
don't
not
want to put you on
very
the spot,
intimate.
but up to this point, like, have you made out with somebody? I mean, or were you pretty like, man, just green?
I would say, yeah, dude.
You don't have to get into details,
I
but I
was
mean,
trying to think back. I probably didn't really kiss a girl until about like 5 years. Actually, I lied. After my accident happened, I dated someone like early on in my injury, like right
Really?
after, briefly.
Yeah.
And she was super cool chick. So I got to hook up with her after my accident.
Okay.
But at the time, like I just wasn't in the right headspace to like. I wanted a girlfriend, but I also wanted to treat her good. But at
Yeah.
the time, all the focus is on me right now. Like
Right.
I need to
Yeah.
focus. This is like the first year of my injury. Like doctors say, like you're going to get back the
normal.
most movement your first year. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to do PT as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like I could, give her the attention she deserved.
Yeah.
So I ended things. And then after that, probably didn't really
Poor thing.
do,
Crushed her, bro.
She's
I
never
know.
been the
Crushed her.
same.
She's not gonna watch this episode either.
No,
So.
dude,
But you've moved on to bigger and better things. We'll touch on that.
yeah. So, didn't really, date until, probably once I actually moved out onto campus.
Okay.
Then I had a place I could bring girls back to
Hell
and
yeah.
just be
Ooh.
comfortable.
And just turn that
Bachelor.
baby monitor off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, dude, have the caregiver set me up and be like,
But I mean,
"Alright."
like, you sound like you were kind of going through stages of confidence. So,
For sure.
is there like, tell us about the first time you took a girl out, or like the first time you approached that
Dude,
situation?
yeah.
Was
So
it?
I think the first time I went on a date was meeting a girl online. Like I started online before
Tinder,
I had the confidence
Bumble.
to ask out in person.
Yeah.
Tinder. And it was at that time when Tinder was like just new, like people
Yeah.
didn't really know. Like it now has a rep for just hooking up and
Right.
like that type of
Yeah.
stuff. But
I'm
when I
still
was
on it.
doing it, that wasn't like my mentality. Because I'd rather, be able to do like it a lot with a
Yeah,
chick,
for sure.
like one chick than like
Mm-hmm.
random ones every once in a while. I
Right.
don't know. Just my preference.
Well, it's tough in our situation.
and it's harder
we
too
have
for
to-
us,
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
It's like you got to talk to them, explain to them. I'm like, I don't want to have to do that every single time.
Yeah. If you go back
you know.
and watch Wheel Relationships, the 3-part series,
Mm-hmm.
we get into that. How it's like we have to establish a connection and a trust and a bond first.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it ain't just, swiping and ripping clothes off. Maybe sometimes it is. Maybe sometimes
These actually
it's not.
buttons rip red.
And, maybe if you want to tear those buttons off, you can go over to Zappos Adaptive. But let's just keep the plugs rolling here.
Yeah.
But no, it takes a little more doing, and you have to establish that trust level. And
Yeah.
it's something that's different. But it
Did
you
you
know,
fail
works out well.
epically in the beginning, or were you just cool as a cucumber? Or like,
Still inside I was nervous, but I didn't really let it show on the outside. And
Okay.
I always like let them know like, hey, I'm in a wheelchair. So like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine like going on a date with a chick and like doing online dating and like just rolling up in a wheelchair and she has
Yeah.
no idea. Like I wouldn't want to ever
So
do that
did
to
you-
person.
did you listen to our
Wait,
last
okay,
episode?
We got to throw this out there. So in your profile,
do you show
did
your
you
wheelchair?
show pictures of your chair?
100%.
Attaboy.
Okay.
100%.
And why?
Because I want them to know.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's like screwed up on my end to do that to someone, and that's setting me to have a higher chance of failure. If they don't know what I'm in a wheelchair ahead of time and they see me, they're gonna be like, okay, well I never would have agreed
We
to
agree
this.
100%. We
Yeah.
agree
See,
100%.
that's 2 episodes, 2 very different points of view. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Drop us a comment. Let us know. Chair, no chair in the photos. What would you think if someone showed up to a date and they were in a chair but you didn't know?
Or missing a leg.
Vice
Or I
ver-
mean,
you know,
like,
vice
how do you
versa,
any
like-
disability
Like,
across the board?
let us freaking know.
Yeah.
Slide in those DMs. Holler.
Yeah, and also my bio, I said what happened, and I also said you can ask me anything you want about my accident.
Yeah.
I'm very open.
Awesome.
Because I know women like are curious and they
Yeah.
wanna
What are the
know.
top things they
So-
ask you?
Oh, number one, can you have sex? Like that's probably
Yeah.
the top.
Can you?
Yes. I
Okay.
can.
And
Yeah.
We'll get into that too. Maybe.
Yeah, that's fun. I like
Maybe
that.
we could touch on that subject a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a little curious.
Yeah, a
We
little bit
know
too.
about
So I
that
gotta
one.
hide this a little better.
So that was, and I always like them asking me that because it opens the door to kind of
Yeah.
go down that path.
Uh-huh.
And
What are
be
some
like,
other
hey,
questions they throw at you?
like if you have, can you feel like have feeling?
I love to play that game.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Will you walk again?
Yeah, that one was one too.
How much help do you need?
Oh,
Can I wipe your butt on the first date?
I've never got that on first date.
You're dating the wrong ones.
Yeah.
Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
Do you have a headboard?
Yeah. No, that's when I'm on Grinder. Yeah. Do you have a headboard? Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I honestly, any questions they asked me, I would pretty much answer. But a lot of, I don't know if I just had good luck with the women, but
Yeah.
they asked like a few questions and
Yeah.
then they were like, all right, like,
Again, I want to give you credit where credit's deserved. It's your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You
think that's a
answered
big
them.
part
You
of
were
it.
confident. You
Yeah.
were cool about it. And I want to stress that to anybody dealing with a disability, people are very going to be inquisitive because they have never seen somebody in a wheelchair that looks like us.
Right.
The stereotype is elderly or somebody maybe born with a disability,
Yeah.
not normal guys who got in an accident or
That
placed
good
in a
or they're
wheelchair.
just angry.
You know?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys are greatly. I think average over here, but
Yeah.
do
Just
what I do.
average Joe.
Yeah,
Just blue collar guy with flannel.
I'm
today.
humble. I'm self-deprecating. Holla.
But I think, yeah, like you said, I think confidence and just believing in yourself is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. Like my high school, my first year of college, I did not have that.
Yeah.
And so I never took that step to put myself out there. And, I realized the importance of forcing yourself out of your comfort zone and
Totally.
doing things that scare you
Preach.
because you're never going to grow. You're never going to learn. You're never going to, do new things if you never push yourself out of your comfort zone.
What was the hardest thing for you to get out of your car? Like what? Like tell me, like going to a party, actually going on a date. Like what was the thing? Like man, I have to do this. I'm missing out.
Probably like dating,
Yeah.
going on a date, like an actual date. I had to get over the fact that either the girl would have to pick me up and take out. I had a van that is wheelchair accessible, so I
Okay.
can get in it in the passenger seat. Then they'd have to tie me down. I have tie downs.
What?
Yeah.
First date. I live in a van down by the river, and you get to tie me down.
Yeah, dude, so, yeah.
Yeah, you're beating
They
them off
had
with a
to-
stick
Dude,
in that
attaboy,
profile.
Hell
Dude,
yeah.
yeah. So, it was awkward, or I'd have to get dropped off at the place we met for dinner,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
when it's
Stick
done,
to Starbucks, bro.
wait
Coffee dates are
and
the
get
best.
picked up, So, and then on top of that, like I wanted to make sure I could feed myself, the fact like I wasn't comfortable enough to date if I couldn't feed myself. That was just
I
something
felt
that,
the
like,
same way.
Yeah,
I
it's
would.
just-
I stuck
yeah.
to finger food.
Yeah, or I hamburgers, burritos. something I
Hamburgers
can
are
just
tough because you have
hold.
to pull away for a bite. So I stuck like
Yeah.
chicken strips where I
Burgers
know I
were
can
tough.
get right through
Mhm.
it. A chicken strip I can get right through. Fries I can
Yeah.
get right through.
Yeah,
Especially when I first got hurt, I lived above the Catch restaurant
The
at
Lofts.
Angel Stadium. Yeah,
Okay.
the Lofts. And their burgers were just freaking stacked, dude. They're so good, but
yeah,
big. And
Yes,
I
yeah.
was massively insecure at that point.
yeah.
And I literally felt like everyone in the restaurant was looking at me. And anytime, Sonny, you can attest to this, anytime food would drag out of like whatever I was eating or felt
Yeah.
like, dude, I was a
Yeah.
mess.
This
Yeah.
guy,
Right?
this guy once shut down a whole night because he got a little bit of barbecue sauce on his leg.
just
A little bit.
Ah,
He could not get out of his own head at that
God,
point.
It was just like
you've grown a
all
lot,
eyes
though, man.
on
You've grown a
me
lot. Yeah.
every time. I have
Yeah.
grown.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to pie you in the face one day, though.
Yeah.
Just like we're out and about.
Do it
I'm
out in
gonna pie
public,
you.
just in front of other people.
And just in front of people, I'm just gonna throw a pie right in your
God,
face
please
and make
do.
you
See
wear
what they
it the
do,
whole time
bro.
around.
See what they do.
Yeah.
Will they
Be
defend
hot.
him or just be like, don't say anything?
No,
Probably won't say anything.
no, for sure. But you just gotta wear the pie. That'd be pie face. Be hilarious.
Please, what kind of pie?
Lemon meringue, maybe, or
No cream?
just cream.
Warm
Yeah.
apple pie.
Ooh, no, that's.
I
no.
don't know about that.
I don't want to
one.
burn your face. We'll keep it to the cooler
How
ones.
dare you burn
How
this
dare
face?
ya.
The money maker.
So give us like the first date rundown. How'd it go? Was it smooth?
Yeah.
Did you guys make out at the end of the
dude.
night?
So I don't know where we went, but yeah, I went on a date. We went out to eat. It was good. I think she picked me up in my van.
don't
Or
know
she
why that
came
makes
in
sense. I
like,
love this.
and then my van because it was when I was living on campus. So I
Okay.
had my car there. And then we went on a date. A lot of the dates I went on like went pretty successful.
Good.
And then at the end, like I always like try to get a kiss.
Hell yeah.
It was
You have
worth
to
it.
pull
Did you have a
It was worth
go-to
it.
move?
No, but that's the thing, dude. Like every time I was like, hey, like
You want a
Yeah.
free ride?
I had a great date. Like, I'd love to do
Mhm.
this again. Like, can I kiss you goodbye? And
Okay.
I
Look at
hated
Such
that,
a
dude.
gentleman.
Right?
know, but in
Getting
my
that
head, like,
consent, right?
Inside, I'm like,
boy.
this is so lame. Like,
No,
and that
that's
was saying to me,
cute.
like, I hate it as a guy having to like
Not
ask
being
for a
able to
kiss
physically
instead of
initiate.
making the move, because that's
Mhm.
typically
Yeah.
what a guy does. He
Mhm.
makes the first move.
Yeah.
That was hard for me, but I'm like, if I never do that, I'll never freaking get a kiss a chick.
Good for
so
you, for like
yeah.
pushing yourself though.
Mhm.
Gotta
Good for
do
you.
it, man. I mean, it wasn't easy, and now like I'm way more confident in myself.
Yeah. Now he's
so-
just out there. Oh, dude, he's pulling happy going.
Now I'm like, why the hell did I have that confidence?
all over.
Yeah.
So confident that
Over and again.
something happened maybe a year or two ago. You got engaged.
Yeah. So after a
Homie.
while of dating
Let's back up. How'd you guys meet? Give us the
online.
story, man.
online,
Dude.
Was it love
yeah.
at first sight? Was it a gradual pickup?
in the
give us some
beehive?
deets.
let's see. Yeah. So I would say after our first date, I told myself I could definitely see myself with this chick long term
What was it about her
if
that made you say
she's
that?
interested.
Yeah.
So I met her on a dating app. I actually had deleted my dating apps because I was pissed off that like I couldn't find anything that was going anywhere.
Yeah.
And in my head, I wanted to find like a long-term relationship. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to hook up. I want to find someone serious. And all the previous chicks that I dated, nothing went past like a few months. And then I got pissed off because I was impatient. I deleted all my apps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then so she messaged me while I had the app deleted, and like I didn't respond, because
Playing
I
hard
didn't get the
again.
message. So in my bio, I left my Instagram
Okay.
tag, and she looked me up
Dude,
and messaged
so
me.
Wow.
she came back
Dude,
twice.
she
hit
was
you.
the aggressor.
Okay.
Two punch.
Okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
That's hot though. I like.
Dude,
like
that was a
love
turn on,
when
bro.
I love when girls take that initiative.
Yeah.
Don't think that just because Bumble makes the girl make the first move, that
Right.
you can't be the, initiator in this relationship.
Assertive. I
Yeah,
love it.
dude.
Dang.
And that was like the first thing that attracted me to her, was like the fact that she reached out to me.
What was that
took
message
that first
like?
step. Oh, dude, it was like, hey, my name's Bree.
Hey, I saw you on Bumble. You're really cute.
I sent you a message. I just think that you're really cute. I saw your profile. Hope this isn't weird, or something like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hope I'm not weird. I don't know. Something. I'm like, no, not at all.
You checked her pictures out. You're like, damn, I just hit the
Dude,
jackpot.
so like, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna get myself in trouble, but first thing I did before I even responded is I like looked at her pictures
Oh,
to
that's
see if she was
normal. That's
attractive. I'm
normal,
like,
yeah.
Gotta check her out.
okay, how cute is she? What she look like? And then so she was a good looking chick. I messaged back. We talked for a while. Found out that she lived a solid hour away from me, which instantly killed my
Yeah.
Where at?
At that point, I was like, this isn't gonna work. So she lived out in Temecula,
Okay,
wine
dang, bro.
tasting country.
wine country. But the thing was, I didn't drive at the time, so
Yeah.
she has to
Yeah,
drive to
dude.
me a freaking hour to me to go on a date. And like in my head, I'm like, I want something serious. Like I don't want to do a long-term relationship. Like I just don't
Right.
see how this is gonna work. And then I kind of told her that, and she's like, well, I don't mind driving to you to like go on a date.
Wow.
So then I'm like, all
Dang,
right, let's do it.
bro.
Let's see what happens. She
Yeah.
drove an hour to me, picked me up at my parents' house, and met my mom, met my grandma, met me for the first time.
Don't you love that? Dude, oh my God.
I don't, but yeah.
Big 30 and like, first date? Cool. Come meet my mom, my dad, and
Yeah, meet my whole
let
family.
me show you my whole entire life real
Yeah.
quick.
So then she had to learn how to use the tie downs to tie my wheelchair down in the car. Then we drove off. She drove us. We went and get some sushi.
Nice.
Had just like an amazing first date. I kind of just talked a lot about my injury, like was very open, answered any questions she had. After that, she disclosed to me like some trauma that she'd been through in her past.
Awesome.
Dude, stuff that like I feel like a lot of people wouldn't talk about, like
Yeah.
even like 6 months into dating someone. So we just like opened up. And after that, we went and got coffee, talked a little bit more, and then she dropped me off, and then got to kiss her.
There it
and,
is.
yeah, I got the kiss, bro.
Dude, seal
Okay.
Got the kiss.
Seal the deal.
So,
Casanova over here.
Yeah. So
But I think it's a credit to you again, though. Your emotional vulnerability showed her she could be emotionally vulnerable back.
yeah,
And that's why you guys connected so quickly.
yeah.
Tell us about like some of like the keys to success that you found in your guys' relationship. I mean, now you guys are freaking engaged. Congrats
yeah.
again.
Do you have a date
man.
set or
Thank
anything
you.
like that? Or
No, not yet. I think our biggest holdup right now is just money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to decide if we want like a nice big wedding, we want a destination wedding, or you just want a small intimate wedding, and then like
We
maybe,
could sell Sonny.
dude,
Like-
yeah, bro.
We should do a kissing, Wheel Talks kissing booth with Sonny Case
Love
Power.
that.
Okay.
Not me. I'm a taken man.
I mean, you're twisting my arm right now, but I'll do it.
If I could twist that arm, I would twist it real hard.
And I'll choke you out right here in front of everybody on camera.
And everyone be weirded out because I'd like it.
Yeah. Okay, back to normality here.
Anyways, Zach,
Give
you
us
didn't
some
know what you were
keys to
getting
success.
into.
How long you guys
Yeah.
been together?
We've been together over 2.5 years. So
It feels longer.
so
Dude,
this
yeah.
this July 13th will be engaged for 1 year.
You even remember the anniversary date?
Well, when
Dude,
I proposed to her,
You better.
Right
Dude,
now.
you gotta
That goes
remember that,
real
bro.
bad.
Keys to
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
Remember the
Maybe that's
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
the keys to success is
Yes.
remembering certain dates.
Okay.
So yeah, I asked her out February 13th, 2018.
This guy's on point, dude.
I feel like I'm like watching Rain Man and
Yeah.
freaking
February 13th, it was 8:35 p.m. Like, man, you're good. Okay.
killing
Yeah, and then so I proposed to her on our year and a half anniversary. Oh
Yeah.
no, actually I don't know. Year and a half anniversary. is
How'd
when
you
I
do it?
proposed.
Dude.
Dude, so I did it. This was a hard decision because I wanted it to be awesome. But long story short, I ended up just inviting her family to come over to my parents' house. My dad was gonna barbecue.
Did you ask your parents for the blessing?
Dude, I asked her dad like the night of.
Okay.
I threw all my
Nice,
eggs in one
yeah,
basket.
yeah.
I had the ring on
Okay.
me. When her parents got there, it was the first time both our dads had ever met each other.
All right.
Wow.
We had been
Okay.
dating for a year and a half. First
So you
time our
went for the
dads met.
gusto.
I had the ring on me, and I pulled her dad aside and was like, "Hey, I just want you to know how serious I am about your daughter. Like,
You've met him before, though, right?
I met him before,
Okay.
yes. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. I have the ring right here. I wanted to show you it, and I also want to get your blessing because that means a lot to me." And so he was like, "Yeah." He was super cool about it.
Have they always
that-
been supportive of your guys' relationship?
I think in the beginning, like before I'd ever met them, and like Bree started telling them like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing a guy in a wheelchair, and then it's actually starting to get serious. They had their skepticism,
Concerns.
Yeah.
Which
you got Bree's the
I
same
don't
age
blame
as
them.
you?
No, she's younger. She is like 3 years younger than me.
So
Okay.
she's 22 right now?
Yeah, she'll be 23 July 1st.
Okay.
And I'll be 26.
It's their little girl, you know.
August.
You gotta watch out, and I mean,
for sure.
that's no harm. It's not anything against you, but they
No.
just want to make sure that
I totally get it.
right.
You know, if I was in their shoes, I would have the same, worries.
If your little girl grew up and wanted to date someone in a wheelchair, you'd still have those worries because you know how much work it takes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of work and stuff. And at the time, she didn't even know that. I don't even think she knew. Like, well, by the time I proposed to her, yeah, she did. She knew a lot of the stuff. But yeah, so I asked him, then rolled around back to my parents' backyard. My dad barbecued. We ate dinner. After dinner, I had everyone go out into the backyard, like as the sun was setting. She has a younger sister who is my little sister's age, like 15. So it's just the two of them. You know, I went around. I said one like positive thing I liked about her mom, dad, and sister. Then I turned to Bree and just said a nice thing. And then after that, popped the question. And
Dang, buddy.
This guy
I got
has all
emotional,
angles covered.
dude. I never get emotional.
God, we're only
really.
like 10 years older and 10 years dumber.
I'm failing so miserably in the dating game. Listen, this guy's got every angle covered,
That's
man.
all
Good for
good.
you, though. Good
But
for you.
I mean, it's funny because I remember being single, just thinking like, man, I want to get married. Like I want to find a woman and like how much better like my life will be. And it is better, but there's also other, difficulties it brings up.
Sure.
So just like communication, she is also like my caregiver. So she does a lot of my
So you have no other help. It's purely her right now?
No. So I also have caregivers that come and help me on certain days.
Yeah.
Right.
Other days I don't, and she helps. And then once COVID hit, I stopped all contact with my caregivers because, I just don't want to risk it. We're more susceptible to getting this with our lack of, lung function.
Does she do the personal stuff, bowel treatments?
Wipes my ass, showers me, shaves me.
Okay.
All that
Damn,
stuff.
dude.
Damn.
That's a solid.
Was that it?
Solid
Yeah.
woman right there.
What was that transition like, though?
She pushed for it like quicker than I did.
Okay.
She like wanted to do that. Like she wanted to like know.
Were you hesitant, though?
I was hesitant. I was like, hell no, because I was scared if she really saw like the
How
work that
much?
went into it, she'd be like, screw this, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So she kept pushing me, and I'm like, no, like I don't feel comfortable. I was the one that had to be like, you know what? I want to have a long-term relationship with you, and if I want this to succeed, I'm gonna have to get over this and just do it. So one day I had her watch my mom do it, just so she knew, like, could visually see it. And then the next time I heard she did it like by herself.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was super awkward, uncomfortable, and I'm like, please don't let it be like a bad shit.
A bad day, yeah. For
You
real.
think I had Thai
you
and
know,
Mexican food the night
yeah.
before?
Yeah, I'm like just trying to eat like some veggies so
Yeah.
just go smoothly.
Don't push too hard transferring over to the sea.
Yeah,
Like, dude, yeah.
So you ate
yeah,
like a whole
so-
pineapple before you did that,
Dude,
just to make sure everything was good and fresh. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, dude, it's a glorious life, guys.
It is, man. It is. It's very, very invasive.
What
but-
I've noticed, though, and what I've seen from a distance, though, is you're very romantic. And I think you take time to make sure she's appreciated, from your posts to actually like little picnics and things that you do. Do you feel like that's helped? I mean, obviously. But like, what do you think about that?
I actually appreciate you saying that, and I think from a guy's perspective, they would see that, but I think Bree would be like, "No, you need to step it up."
Okay.
Yeah, because she is very her love languages are like words of affirmation and like what was it? Like doing things. I forgot what the
Acts of service.
acts of service. Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes it difficult.
Mine's Chinese food from our episode 2.
For sure.
Which make it difficult because I'm freaking paralyzed and can't do a lot of physical things.
Right. But you're not a
So,
quitter, though.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But there's definitely times when she gets overwhelmed and was like, she'll like drop hints like, "Hey, I love like some new flowers," or something like that.
Bro, slip.
And sometimes
Hey,
that
she's
should
She's
go
been
over my
forward
head.
the whole time, and it's like
I love
you
it,
kill
though.
Hell
I love it, yeah.
Yeah.
Girl knows what she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not a very emotional person. I think I'm like I can be open, but like I'm not very emotional. It's hard for me to connect to some people sometimes.
What do you
on
think
the
that
same
is?
emotional level?
Are you afraid to go down that road emotionally?
I think
sometimes?
it's more so because of my injury and having the mindset I have is how I'm able to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so just a lot of things for me, I'm just like, even in like my head and my way of thinking, if I have a negative thought come across or if like, I don't know, something happens that I don't agree with, instead of just like arguing about it or latching on to this negative thought, I just push it out in my head. Like I don't even give it my time of day.
Double-edged sword,
But it's a double-edged sword, exactly, because that affects our relationship.
Can I give you some big bro advice?
Dude, yeah.
All right, so we're the same. We departmentalize what we want to deal with and what we need to deal with, right?
Yeah.
Like if we dealt with every emotion we felt all day, we'd be an emotional wreck.
Yeah.
What I did come to realize, though, I finally got in a space where I could deal with some of my emotions I hadn't dealt with.
For sure.
Since I've been hurt for almost 8 years. You're what, 10 now?
10 years. Yeah.
Find a way to deal with some of this stuff healthy and on your own time and your own pace.
Yeah.
But find a way to deal with it, because there's always going to be that little trap door of emotions that we never deal with. And I found myself, all of a sudden, I just felt it come on out of nowhere. And I was like, where has this been for 8 years?
Yeah.
And it came on strong. I didn't deal with it the most healthy way all the time. I found myself crying or maybe drinking too much. Thank God I had the quarantine. I can do it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But I suggest you find ways to deal with it a little bit more than probably what you deal with.
And the subconscious is so strong too. You know, and unless we like actively tap into it.
Yeah.
Because by the time the subconscious is screaming through the surface, it's probably presenting itself in some pretty bad ways. You know, so not that you're going through anything gnarly, but you know, just take.
I didn't think I was either, though, and also just came on like a hurricane.
Yeah. And some of the big advice, not to cut you off, some of the big advice we got from our last guest, you know, being in a long-term relationship, they've been like married 12 years. So they've been together 12 years. Is just like having that alone time to be able to invest in yourself for the strength of the couple
and giving her a break.
Yeah, no, you guys made 2 points, and I think her being such an emotional person has allowed me to be more of an emotional person. Like she's taught me, a lot instead of just like shut things off like the instant I don't want to talk about it. And also learning that breaks are good. I think in the beginning, especially for her, because you know she can be like a little insecure and just like I don't know, be a little more emotional. Is that like in the beginning, like she never wanted a break because she viewed it as a bad thing, and I'm like, no, like for one day, let's go do our own thing and just be apart from each other. Like that's a good thing.
Because you guys live together, right?
Yeah, we do. And like now with quarantine, like we're together 24/7. She's my main caregiver, and so this has been like a huge test for us.
Yeah, and trust me, that's a hard thing to present to someone, because it looks like a negative that you don't want to spend time with somebody. Yeah. But it's for the betterment of everything. Trust me. I know it's a tough thing. And maybe we just have to get more creative about how we present that. Like, oh, I got you reservations at the spa today. Like, oh, I set you up with your sister something to do something, you know, like
you have to force it on them because they're not going to want to do it on their own.
Right.
Exactly.
Kicking and screaming, but it's because they love us.
So you have a pretty amazing YouTube. All right. So what was the genesis of that, and why'd you start that to begin with?
Yeah. So I started it about 2 years ago, and so I've been injured for 10 years, a good amount of time. So I'd say about like 5 or 6 years into my accident, I was like looking up YouTube videos of just like quadriplegic stuff, and there was hardly anything on YouTube. And you know, people only see us how we are right now, dressed, hair is brushed, we're ready for the day. No one knows what goes on in the morning for those however long hours it takes behind the curtains to get us to this point. And you know, I'm an open person. Like I don't really care. And I'm like, dude, I want to start a YouTube channel for educational purposes, showing people what it takes to get me in a wheelchair. You know, how I shower, how I feed myself, how I get around. And so that was like my mindset making the YouTube channel. And so, and then it wasn't until like 2 years ago. So I waited till 8 years, and it was a more of like, okay, I just need to do it. You know, I kept saying I want to do it and just kept putting it off. Like didn't feel it was the right time. Didn't have like the motivation. Then one day my mom's like, hey, let's record our BP program. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I recorded my bowel routine shower program, put a video, and not even that good. I edited it all myself.
Damn, dude.
Recorded off my phone. I edited off of iMovie on the app on my phone. Like nothing super amazing. And so I posted it, and then like, I don't know how long, it ended up going viral. Like super cool. I got like lots of reviews.
Were you kind of like nervous about it going viral?
I was nervous for you. I saw the video. And it depicts you at a very vulnerable stage. Oh, yeah. You're getting lifted on and off your bed. I mean, you got a towel barely covering all your goods. Yeah. And you go through a lot of detail that I've been afraid to divulge to a lot of people, even today. So for you to put that out there for the public to see, and then it goes viral. Yeah. They have no idea.
Yeah. No, and I wanted it to be raw. Like, I didn't want to edit it out. Like, I wanted to put as much as I could in there without YouTube being like, okay, you can't put this in there. Yeah. So it was exciting. Like, it was super cool because I feel like had my channel not gotten as big as it did, it probably wouldn't be where it is now. Like I would have lacked the motivation to continue making videos. Yeah. Because I'm like, if I'm not getting a whole lot of views, and you know, I got my school's my main priority, I'm just like, I don't want to put my time into that. So it went big. You know, I even got an email from YouTube saying they chose me for a certain month that I was like the YouTube creator on the rise.
Yeah.
No way.
And so I got featured on the front page of the YouTube for like 24 hours.
So cool.
That's
this is all like way in the beginning.
What's the name of your channel?
Yeah, let's plug it.
So yeah, my channel name is Zack Collie, just my name, ZACK.
Right here?
Yeah.
Be
We'll
sure to
drop it
click
out there
that
for you.
subscribe.
And so I just wanted my name. And yeah, so now I post pretty much just how I do certain things. I want it to be more of educational. I did not want to become a vlogger.
Yeah.
Partly because I can't do it on my
And
own.
I feel that.
It's a lot of stress,
I feel
dude.
that.
It's
I
a
feel
lot
like
of stress.
your page is very organic.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you don't force topics.
Yeah.
Like legit, you're the type of person that gets like, oh, let me try this knife because I'm gonna try cooking, and then you put a video up of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very organic. It definitely comes off that way.
Yeah, and they kind of just happen. You know, there'll be times when I'm like, I have no idea what I want to make, and then a week later, someone will comment something and give me an idea, or I'll just think of a random idea. And so yeah, and basically I started just getting a bunch of views, and just at the time I had a list of a bunch of videos I wanted to make. So just kept pumping those out, and then after a while, like I eventually got monetized, which is awesome, and it allowed me just to help save money because I don't work, I get disability, it's hardly anything,
for sure.
Barely can survive off of that. So I needed another source of income. And that's a whole other thing just with SSI, and you can get cut. And I was scared to get a job because I didn't want to lose my SSI because you have to report your earnings to them. It's a whole
that
other
whole
thing.
benefits thing is a mess. Maybe we can have some kind of specialist talk people, help them out with that. But dude, did the channel kind of give you a sense of purpose? Like, okay, I'm getting this amazing feedback. Like this feels right. Like I am doing a service to people.
Absolutely. I think it definitely gave me a huge purpose in life, in that I was reaching all these people from all over the world, from just Peru, Russia, Guatemala, places like the Philippines. I don't know, just crazy, Taiwan. I've had people comment from there, from Canada.
Crazy.
And I don't know, it makes me happy. I love reading through the comments and just seeing people, what they have to say and stuff. Obviously, after a while, I couldn't respond to everyone because there's just too many. And so, yeah, it was just great to see the reactions and that my videos were actually helping people, because that was my whole goal of starting this YouTube channel.
So when did you finally get the courage to get behind the wheel? What led to that? Because this is a recent thing that you get
For
behind the
driving?
wheel. Yes.
Driving takes some wheel courage, man.
Yeah, for some wheel dudes.
It really does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got a part of a rehabilitation called Department of Rehab. They basically help pay for someone with a disability to go to college, to get an education, to get a job. Within that, you got to be able to get to your school. You got to get to your job. So at the time, access, public transportation. They said, based off where you live, you will apply for access. So a bus comes to my house, picks me up. I have to call 24 hours in advance.
It's a crappy service.
Say what time I want to get picked up, what time I want to get dropped off.
They're never on time.
Never on time. So, that's what I did. I took it to school. Then I was living at my parents' house, and the bus zone access is based off of bus stops. The bus stop by my parents' house got taken out.
Oh,
so then access contacted me and hey, your house is zoned. We can't come to your doorstep. So you have to get dropped off somewhere. Then they can pick you up, take you somewhere,
my gosh.
drop you back off at a Starbucks. Then my parents have to come pick me up. So I'm like, this is stupid. Then I told my counselor from Department of Rehab, and she's like, okay, well, that's unacceptable. So we're going to have to buy you a car.
What?
And I was like, wait, what? And so they're like, we don't do this often, but you meet the qualifications for it. And so this was a 3-year process.
Okay.
I had to get this wheelchair, this power chair. I was never in a big power chair before. After my accident happened,
You had that little adaptive thing.
I had
right?
a little adaptive motor. Also, I had a power assist wheel.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in a big power chair because I felt like it made me look more disabled than I was.
Same.
I was insecure about that. But they're like, well, if you want us to pay for you to drive, you have to get in a power chair. It's safer.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I can suck it up and go in a power chair.
What about your power assist thing? Is similar? That wouldn't work?
No, because they want a higher backrest, and even
for driving.
they want a headrest, but I take mine out because I don't like it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, their main goal is the safety. So they got me this. That took a year. Then they bought a van. They had to send it in to get modified. Then I had to test different hand controls, which hand controls worked for me. Then I found the hand controls, and they had to order them, put them into the car. Then I drove down to LA, where the modification place was. I had to stay there for like 3 days, go there every day while they just made certain like little tweaks and stuff to make sure everything was at the right angle.
Oh, okay.
In the meantime, I had my permit. Then once I was fully comfortable in the car, I could open the car, get in, turn the car on, drive, park, get out, lock the car up, 100% on my own. Once I could do that, they're like, okay, now we're going to send the car to your house. Then we'll send a driving instructor. Then you have to drive, basically until I felt comfortable. They're like, technically, because you're over 18 and you have your permit, you can just go to the DMV and take your driving test.
Right.
I didn't want to waste time and like go there and just fail. So I wanted to make sure when I went, I was going to pass.
How long did it take you to get comfortable?
Dude, only like a month or two of driving.
Yeah.
With an instructor like twice a week. Like twice a week for anywhere from an hour to 3 hours.
Was there some fear involved there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was scared.
What was the first time getting on the freeway like?
Oh my gosh.
That's sketchy
super
when
scary.
You're 16.
It is
sketchy when you can't.
Yeah,
because you never drove before.
No, I had my permit. I mean, I had my permit at 15.
Oh my gosh,
you never drove before.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I got to drive behind the wheel before my accident happened 1 time or 2 times.
Okay.
So I did get to experience what it was like. Never got on a freeway. But then my accident happened, and then my permit expired, and then
played a lot of Gran Turismo.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
GTA baby.
A lot of drift. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then after I got my car, started to drive. I mean, it was awesome, but it was scary, just because of like my level of function, and also I didn't realize how freaking crazy other drivers are. Like, I think I'm a little more nervous of other people around me than I'm confident in myself.
Right.
It's more scary about all the other crazy idiots out there.
What's it been like though with the independence and like, I mean, today you show up to our podcast by yourself.
Yeah, I drove here all by myself.
You just went to school by yourself.
Yeah, I drove to my campus for the first time. Yeah. Like, that was just such a cool thing to do. You know, because before this, I would have to get dropped off, wait for someone to come pick me up and take me home. Like, I'm very grateful that I had people that did that for me, but it sucks relying on people in general.
Now when your fiance pisses you off, you just take off.
I can just be like, all right, I'm going to go for a drive.
See you later.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. So
I won't be home for dinner either.
I would get my own dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't got to make it. I don't want your dinner.
Yeah, there you go. That a boy.
Yeah, but in case you do need dinner, sometimes you get it delivered. You know what I mean?
Meal prep, bro.
Yeah.
There's a great company that I've been using.
Heck yeah. I think it's called Naked Holistics.
Yeah. I really love the cook. I mean, she just does an amazing job.
Great cook.
Yeah.
It cooks with
the
love.
Seasoning, it's just delish.
Oh,
I love it.
There's definitely a little seasoning on there. Yeah.
I love the little notes I get.
You get notes?
I get notes.
What the hell notes are you getting?
Yeah, what kind of notes are you getting, bro?
Just, Zach, we love you. We love you, Bree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Little hearts.
I'll take it. It's
Mine
okay.
are a little bit more aggressive, but that's for another time.
Yeah, it's like
I love your avocados.
It's like you need to pay us for the last 3 weeks, like those kind of aggressive.
No, more like I love your avocados and you know the warm smile I get when I hand deliver your food and I hang out for 3 hours.
For sure.
But don't tell Marty, please. Something like that. I mean, it's kind of wordy actually. She could shorten it up and just abbreviate.
It's
half
all
those
written
words.
on the side of a brown paper bag. Oh, anyways, why did I even do this? But yeah, no, for sure, man. It's a good option.
What's next though? What's you're driving, you're going to school, you're gonna get married.
So
is there anything that you haven't accomplished yet that you really want to?
I mean,
that's
kids?
25,
dude. Yeah,
are we thinking kids soon?
Dude,
or?
I want kids, and I actually part of the reason why I
have kids?
Want to settle down. I can have kids.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that's another question a lot of people ask us.
Yeah. So I can have sex. I got feeling. You know. Hopefully I got strong swimmers.
Okay.
Yeah. But
how was the sensation, like sex in general? Don't have to get too detailed.
Yeah.
on it.
So, you know, obviously it's not 100%. I never had sex before my accident. So I don't really know what that's like. But the sensation, I can still feel it. But I know it's not like normal.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I'm grateful I can still feel it and it still works down there because there's a lot of people that it doesn't and they have lots of problems with that.
Right.
So,
But
right now, man, if I could choose the order, I mean, I wish I had enough money so I could put a down payment on like a house or a condo. I want to move out of the apartment I'm in. It's amazing. It's great. I'm very grateful for it, but it's just super small and it's they don't call it low income. It's what's the name? They changed the name. Affordable housing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Affordable housing. So, you know, it's cheaper rent, but I live under a microscope, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
It sucks.
Do you have IHSS?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big help as well.
Yeah. So Bree gets that to do my care.
Which is a great form of income for your family as well.
Yeah. So that's helpful.
How many hours do they give you?
Dude, for a quad, it's so dumb.
I max out. I get 283.
Bro, I get like 160.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
And
Dang.
I don't know. My other buddy, he's a quad.
We'll
He
talk
gets,
off
like,
air
maxed.
about it. We'll talk
Yeah.
off air about it. I don't want to put anything on wax, but yeah.
Yeah.
You should be getting more for sure.
I should get more. I know people who are paras that are like pretty independent that get max hours. And I'm like, why can't I? I don't know. But yeah. So, but I do get that. So it is nice. But I would love to have like a better foundation where we live than start trying to have a kid, just because we can't, like, there's no room in our place to have a kid. But I've always wanted to be like a young dad. Yeah. That's kind of why I settled down young.
Right.
You know, a lot of people are like, why do you want to do that? And I'm like, well, I want to have a family. And at a younger age, like, I'm hoping to have a kid by the time, or be pregnant by the time I'm 30.
Okay.
So, I mean,
that's
still young.
That's 5 years.
Plenty of time to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by then
Practice
I'll
makes
have
perfect.
hopefully my master's in counseling.
You have a headboard, right?
I'll have a job. What?
Don't listen to him. It's okay.
Marty has this thing going. Do you have a headboard on your bed?
No, we don't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Too much noise.
Sleep number.
I gotcha.
Silent.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I want to finish school. I want to graduate, get my degree in counseling. I want to start working.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of just school and just living on disability.
Yeah.
I want to get my ass out there. I want to get a job and start getting a paycheck.
How much longer you got in the program?
So where I live in the affordable housing, in order to qualify to live there, I can only be a part-time student, which I literally don't understand the logic in that.
Like,
Yeah.
drag it on longer.
Yeah.
And
So I'm
longer?
just going to live here longer, I guess.
Idea that's coming to mind. I mean, dealing with the IHSS and the disability and Social Security, all those things. It is so hard to navigate. Whether you are an adult who has handled all types of things with taxes and paperwork your
Especially
whole life.
in California.
Especially in California with the regulations. So maybe if we could put some brains together, we can host a seminar to help guide people through those challenges.
Yeah.
I think that's something we can do. So if anybody out there has any extensive knowledge on those subjects, feel free to hit us up. We'd love to help people out because, there's no reason you should have to do part-time school to drag the process out. You know?
That's
crazy.
a whole nother conversation. And I'm very grateful for the money that I do get from disability, but they make it extremely hard to get out of that. Like they want to keep you there.
Yeah.
They make it hard to save because, you can't have more than a certain amount of money in your bank account.
Right.
But you need to save money to put it down somewhere else.
Right. Yeah.
Put it underneath the mattress like I did.
Yeah. Cash, dude.
Actually, I don't do that. Don't come hurt me. I don't.
Allegedly.
I'm broke.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
What's your
allegedly,
address?
Yeah.
But so I'm very content and grateful for where I'm at in my life right now. I'm going to school. I never thought I'd go to college, let alone be freaking in a master's
Grad
program.
school. Hell
Grad
yeah, good
school.
for you,
That
brother.
I came to find out. Cal State Fullerton, their counseling program is known all over the nation, and people come from all over the United States.
That's awesome.
To go to this program, and they said they get about over 400 applications to only accept about 60 to 70 applications.
High tens.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And I was one of those, and
Attaboy.
I'm very, very lucky.
I think our listeners also know too. You've never quit rehabbing. You've always stayed committed to your rehab. You've always, with everything else going on, you're still at the gym. You're still doing your thing. So that's a thing that you also keep up with as well.
I have slacked a little bit due to COVID.
Everybody has.
Well,
But I think that's something everyone has, and so I'm trying to get back into it. I do try to work out because that's extremely important for us.
Yeah.
Working out, just even if we don't work out, just stretching. Keep in the range of motion.
Standing.
My body gets so stiff and standing just is great. Yeah,
If you stand easy too.
I'm very lucky that I can stand and keep my knees locked out.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of things that I shouldn't have based on my level of injury that I do. So it's like really, I'm a weird level. And what was the word you use where you kind of heal from your feet up?
Central spinal cord.
spine. Yeah. So my legs are so much stronger than my upper body.
Crazy.
And so it's like I'm, healing from the feet up.
Kind of closing out. What is one thing you'd love to tell the next person that is going to follow in your footsteps? Where's give them advice.
Dude, yeah. So
15-year-old Zack's in front of you right now. Yeah.
I would say I saw this quote the other day that just really resonated with me, and it says, "Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it."
Totally.
And I was like, oh my God, that just relates so much to my life.
Yeah.
We all have been through a life-altering injury, and it's what happened to us, but it's how we're going to react to that.
Absolutely.
That's gonna allow us to go where we go. You know,
Yeah,
if you
Absolutely.
react negatively, you're not going to really go far. You know, it's kind of like tough love a little bit, but
Yeah.
you know, it is.
it's all in God's
So,
purpose, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
You
know,
know, I think you have to build that tolerance for pain. But if you can apply a purpose behind that pain,
Yeah.
sky's
Yeah.
the limit.
yeah, there's for the counseling program, I've learned about all these different theories, but there's this theory about existentialism, which talks about like finding purpose and meaning in life. And it's also finding meaning in suffering.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I don't say I suffer, but dude, I can't wipe my own butt, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Yeah.
And so, but I still have found meaning and purpose despite needing help with like a lot of things.
Love
and
it.
I think that's just personally helped me
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so much.
I
And,
think
yeah.
our most precious real estate that we actually own is our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that because they give them away so easily.
Mhm.
Our emotions and our time. So
Yeah.
Protect those hearts.
that's it.
Use them.
That's it, man. We really appreciate you being on our show, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is so
bro.
fun.
Very
love
much
it.
appreciated. You got to follow this guy, Instagram, YouTube, subscribe to him.
Zack Collie.
Check
Yeah.
it out. Yeah.
We would love to
absolutely.
actually have you and Bree on here at some point too
Dude.
to
Yeah.
talk some relationship stuff because
Mhm.
people are really curious about that as well. So
Especially
Yeah.
taking on the caregiving role that she has. That's
Yep.
a really like
Yes.
different dynamic that I'm sure, you know, people can relate to. So
Yeah.
love having you on, brother. We'll have to do it again sometime. Thank you so much. Everyone out there, please drop a like. Please share it. Subscribe it. Let's do it again. For Wheel Talks, I'm Marty O'Connor alongside my boy.
Sonny Casebauer, and we just keeping it real.
We'll see you guys next week.